This is WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio. Arriba!
This is Brian Williams, the right tackle for your Houston Texans, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Yo, this is Hernandez from TNA, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 46th edition of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
This is Travis.
This is Chris.
Hey! Chris did it right this time. Look at that.
I liked it better last week because this is Chris Riney stuff. It just doesn't sound weird. It sounds weird. Yeah.
It doesn't sound right?
Nah, it doesn't sound right. I used to, last week I did it in the car, like driving over here, staring at the rear view.
You were practicing?
Yeah, I was practicing. Yeah. Like, this is Chris. And I was like, no.
It's not you.
No. And I'll try to do the Star Wars very like Chris, this is. And no, it didn't work either.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a good thing you tested it out. You practiced first.
Yeah, I try, yeah. I don't
That's more than what we do.
I don't want to be half-assed like certain people's introductions. You know, I'm not going to say your names because then the bearded one's going to be all pissy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright. So, thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. I really appreciate it. You know, we're kind of growing here. At least I think so. We have a little bit more than 6 listeners now, I think.
Chris.
Thank you for the 7th listener that's over in the other country.
Yeah. We looked at our some of our statistics and we saw that we had some international peoples tuning in. We had someone from Great Britain, Australia, and Denmark, of all places. Right. Denmark? Really? Okay, cool.
They love us in Denmark.
We're huge in Denmark.
I know where I'm taking my vacation next year.
Denmark?
Hell yeah. I'll buy a jacket right now.
So, thank you for tuning in, and, you know, that's pretty awesome. And if you guys are listening to us on HoustonWrestlingRadio.com, I appreciate that. Also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, where Travis splices in pictures to go along with the topic of conversation, that's great too. And then, of course, you can take us on the go with the Stitcher Radio app. And then, of course, download off of iTunes. That's what podcasts are for, right?
Right.
iTunes.
Yeah.
And iPods. You know,
phones,
pads,
pads, tablets.
Yeah. All that stuff. All that good stuff. So thank you so much for listening on any one of those mediums, and whatever kind of interaction that you could do on there, you know, click a thumbs up, put a reply, give us 5 stars, do whatever you got to do there.
Hell, give us no stars. It doesn't matter as long as we have an opinion. We can boo John Cena all we want. At least we're giving an opinion.
That's true.
The day nobody gets a reaction, that's the day they suck.
Also, if you'd like to, you know, chime in on our topics of conversation, you can reach us on social media places such as Facebook, which is facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. And you can also follow us on Twitter at HWrestlingRadio. There you go. Oh, and we have an Instagram that we never update. And a Google Plus we never update.
Google Plus.
Google on steroids.
Yeah. We should probably
do something with that?
Yeah. No.
Is there anybody on those?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe a little bit.
Probably the one guy from Australia and the one guy from Denmark and the one guy from Greta Britain.
Greta Britain.
Yeah.
Greta, yes.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Why not?
Wow. We're getting off to a great start here today, guys. But don't let our sucky presentation fool you. This has been a really great week for wrestling.
Yes.
I think top to bottom, SummerSlam was really good. It was filled with great matches, and it seemed as though the matches escalated in quality. There was a couple of little bumps here and there, but for the most part, everything was just stellar. Everybody's just sitting around here nodding along, nodding their head, saying yes.
We're waiting to start.
But what sucks is that, you know, when you have good TV, it sometimes makes for a bad podcast, you know? Like
nothing to bitch about.
Yeah, nothing to bitch about.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll find something.
Okay.
We're wrestling fans. We bitch about anything.
Well, Chris, what do you want to bitch about? Is there something you want to bitch about?
Just about the pay-per-view.
About the pay-per-view.
Was there a low point?
I was hoping to see Sofia Vergara with her bra gun. If we're going in that
right, yeah.
grindhouse,
I got the reference.
Thing.
Yes,
yeah. You better have gotten a reference if you got a set. Let's see.
I'll explain to you later, Abel.
Thank you. All right.
Not that I would care. Just don't get my attention.
All right. So that wasn't really a low point. I said, well, you know, what would be a low point from SummerSlam?
Man, we kind of saw it coming. We kind of knew that it was coming. And for some reason, it still broke my heart. Because I did not want to see Daniel Bryan lose the belt.
Wow, we're going there already.
Why not? Let's get right to the...
Okay, fine. Let's let the cat out. Let's get there.
Yeah, it's not a cat out of the bag. It's just that's what everybody's talking about. You know?
Okay, well then let's talk about it. Fine.
All right, go ahead, start talking.
Okay, the match with Debray and Cena was very, 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 very good. I want to say, obviously, match of the week candidate. Okay. Now, you said, that this was kind of a low point for you, Chris, where, Orton, after that, cashed in and all that stuff. I don't know if I would classify that as a low point. I mean, yeah, it kind of got us to where we're like, boo, can't believe this is happening, that sucks, whatever. And we were all there for our own reactions, but it elicited a very visceral reaction. So, in the end, that's kind of good.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's a low point.
Yeah. Watching, that's one of the few kind of matches where you watch it and you forget that you're watching it. Like you just get hypnotized by it. Like you're 8 years old again.
You get lost in the match.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what happened,
After the match. You're talking about after the match.
And then after the match, it's like, oh man, hopefully, I'm thinking in the back of my head, hopefully the internet doesn't explode, because the last time Bryan won the belt and lost it when Christian won the belt and lost it 2 days later, it's like, oh, come on, give
the
this
internet
guy,
blew up, yeah.
Give him at least a week. And then Orton coming out, was like, oh, so they are going to do it. And we could kind of tell, because I was noticing they were doing too many shots of the Titantron and of the whole arena.
Well, Triple H never left the ring.
Yeah.
Now it's a big thing. They got me with the confetti, though. I thought when the confetti came down, I was like, okay, we're good, we can breathe.
Yeah.
But when we noticed,
surely they're not going to wrestle after confetti.
Yes, right. You can't wrestle with confetti.
Here's what I did notice: the crowd was genuinely cheering. There was a real pop when Orton first came out, because they kind of knew what was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But by the time Orton handed Triple H the briefcase and Triple H started the match, the reaction wasn't as high. I don't know.
Because it probably goes back to Raw when we were saying they pretty much told us what was going to happen.
They gave it away.
And I think what you said was true for everybody. It's like, okay, they kind of told us ahead of time, here's what's going to happen.
There was a lot of foreshadowing.
Exactly, yeah, a lot of
Too heavy of foreshadowing.
Yeah. The reason I would say that's a low point for me also was, I don't know if you remember, we were watching it right before the match started, and Debray came out, that huge pop. He was standing in the ring, just looking around.
Oh my god, that crowd!
I turned around and I said, "This is Debray's Money in the Bank."
Yeah,
CM Punk had his Money in the Bank moment where he just came out and was just, the crowd was just
Chicago.
Yeah, this was his Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and the way it ended, if it didn't happen like that, if the little copyright thing popped up right when the confetti came down, that would have been it. That would have been his Money in the Bank. But that didn't happen. So that's the only reason that I think it was a low point for me.
I think that it would piss so many people off. WCW Halloween Havoc, DDP versus Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
A minute and a half in the match.
Yeah.
Would have been freaking perfect was to have that little copyright logo pop up, and then all of a sudden Randy Orton's music hits. And as soon as he walks out, cut that shit.
That would have blew up the internet. Right there.
Even the internet, even Facebook, even the 21st century where we're at right now, those 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds between the time that the TV cuts off and the time that you're waiting for your internet access to load up so you can go to all your wrestling websites or Twitter or Facebook or Stitcher or Instagram or whatever porn site to find out what the hell's happening, that would have been like the ultimate cash-in surprise. Not the fact that he's cashing it in, but that we're not going to get to see it.
Yeah.
That would have been completely out of left field, But that's just me wishing. We knew what was going to happen.
I also was thinking that we kind of figured Orton was going to come out anyways, right? So obviously he comes out and he comes to the ring. I was thinking, you know what? What if he does cash in and he kicks out and then he ends up beating Orton?
Yeah. What if Orton loses?
That would have been another, just an instant classic moment right there. First of all, the first guy to lose with an easy cash in, plus it would have solidified D-Bry even more on this special night.
Beat John Cena and Randy Orton in the same night.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Especially after getting the pedigree and all that shit,
Yeah.
But that's just another woulda, shoulda, coulda type things,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because when the heel guy cashes it in on the face, CM Punk was about to turn at that moment. He was trying to turn heel, but when he cashed it in on Jeff Hardy and gave him the GTS, Hardy kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
When Edge tried to cash it in against John Cena the very first time, the first spear, John Cena kicked out. I was hoping for at least more substance.
Yeah.
As soon as Randy Orton gave him the briefcase, went for the cover, I was expecting Bryan to at least kick out and then Orton be frustrated and then do something. He literally didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Gave him the briefcase, lied down, pinfall.
Well, I think that really adds to the whole story of the thing. It really makes it more so that Triple H just handed Orton the title. Orton didn't have to lift a finger. All he had to do was just go in there and make the pin.
And like we called it before, instant heel heat.
Yeah.
That's the only way to have made him interesting. Not really turn him heel or face, but just turn him interesting, like you said. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it has turned him a little interesting. And then I do have to say that even though it's Triple H, and we've seen heel turn after heel turn for Triple H, and you should expect it from Triple H, I didn't see that part of it coming.
Me neither.
That Triple H was the one that was gonna,
really,
solidify it.
Both of you?
I didn't.
No, I mean, not like in the moment, like beforehand. Like when the match started, I didn't think Triple H was gonna screw Daniel Bryan. Yeah, after the match ended and the confetti came down and Triple H was still in the ring, that's when I was like, okay, it's gonna be Triple H. But I mean, on a bigger scale, like before that, like last week's episode, we weren't talking about Triple H screwing over Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, we did. We not on the show, but when we were watching SmackDown, because we were talking about on the main event that he was being too friendly
in the wrong direction. That was you and me on Saturday. We were watching SmackDown. That's when we were mentioning, hey, what if Triple H?
Y'all look the same to me.
What if Triple H turned heel?
Yeah.
But I see where Abel's coming from because the entire time I was thinking, man, for Triple H being the referee, this match is kind of too clean.
Yeah.
I was expecting Stephanie. I was
During the
expecting
pay-per-view?
Vince.
Yeah.
I was expecting Shield.
I was surprised too.
Someone else to come in.
Yeah.
That's the part where Triple H coming out of nowhere was a complete surprise because every time that we've since this storyline started, there's always been a Stephanie or Vince instigating it.
Yeah.
Or even Brad Maddox instigating it. So when we didn't see any of them, we're like, okay, this is it. That further drew out the fireworks, the confetti, all that, and Cena rolling out and leaving and all that. That's when I thought, okay, they might really go through with this. Like this was almost too clean. And that's when Triple H did his thing and
Yeah. Now I like I said, I don't consider this a low point of the pay-per-view. It's not what the IWC wanted, but at the same time, I can understand that it just makes it made Raw interesting.
It's a necessary evil.
It's a necessary evil, and sometimes you just got to get worked. Sometimes you have to let the bad guy win, and just to kind of give the babyface
like any movie or serial or anything. It's
the villain has to get over every now and again, and I think that's basically what happened. I think it was done well, and I think it was good.
Well, let's bleed this into Raw. If Cena didn't have to take time off to go to the surgery, you think we would have got the same outcome we got?
No, don't.
Do you still think Bryan would have beat Cena?
Maybe.
Not necessarily Orton cashing in.
Right.
Do you still think that Bryan would have beat Cena?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
I do.
Okay.
All right.
That's
what
fine.
About you?
Because I think that would have been a good continuation of the feud, Bryan winning and then Bryan Cena going back and forth a little bit. I don't think it would have went down exactly the way it went down if Cena was sticking around, with the Triple H and, Orton and all that. But then again, this does seem like it was well planned, so we don't know how long ago they came up with this idea. Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, it might have been the long-term plan all along for this, and Cena's injury just expedited the process. I mean, I don't know. But next time I'm in the WWE creative meeting, I'll ask.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Abel. Yeah, get to the bottom of this thing.
Yeah, I'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah. But
tell Lillian I said hi.
Lillian,
And
of all people.
well, she's Mexican, you know how they throw down. Tell her I miss her.
God. All right.
Tell her she left her weave at my house. La Bruta.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lace front, baby.
Wow. Okay,
Cena
that
speech.
really went off the rails there. Okay,
The Cena
Cena
speech.
speech. Yes.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. I mean, Cena really gave Bryan the rub. You know, all of this, everything from Raw and from SummerSlam, all of this was geared around giving Bryan the rub, and that's what I really like about all this.
Would you guys consider it a rub, or would you consider it literally Cena passing him the torch, like Cena just passed
That's
him
what I
the microphone on
Yeah,
Raw?
yeah. I mean,
He literally,
yeah.
the microphone was a torch. There you
It's
go.
like, here you go, take over.
And that's exactly what happened in the first segment. Mm-hmm. Bryan and Stephanie. God.
Cena's out, D-Bry's in.
Yeah, but yeah, that opening segment.
Oh,
my-
jeez.
That's the hands down the best segment of the year, bar none.
Really?
Bar none. And you saw how long the erection I got for Lesnar in that pre-tape one
Yeah.
on this match a few weeks ago. Man, Bryan did it so well.
That I said this. That was one of the best burns on Stephanie that she's gotten since her stuff with Jericho back in like 99, 2000.
This
you know?
compared to like pipe bombs and stuff, that's the charcoal with the match. Bryan was the propane and the propane accessories, that clean burn. He didn't have to sink to any level. He didn't have to use any profanity.
Right.
The way he delivered his lines, it felt like he was doing it as a corporate person.
Yeah.
With a suit and tie. The way he like the way he subtly dropped the stuff. Like, yeah, I'm a B plus, huh? I'm thinking of something that starts with the letter B right now.
Yeah.
That's all he had to say. He didn't have to use the B word directly at her. He had 17,000 people in the arena doing it for him.
And now, every time she comes out, that's all they're going to be...
Man, if that happens, that's going to be the new excuse me.
No.
Stephanie McMahon coming out and having the bitch chant.
No, that's going to be
time.
like back in the day, that was like slut chants.
Yes.
Or asshole chants,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Bryan slapping the mic out of her
Oh,
hand.
God, that was beautiful.
And then picking it up and tossing it out.
I'm digging this I don't give a shit D-Bry attitude. Like, fire me, I don't care.
The line where he said, Triple H used to be a rebel, but after a while, once you lay with trash, sooner or later, you start to stink. That I was sold, like, okay, the company is going to be just fine. Cena doesn't have to come back. Somebody kill him.
Yeah.
We got Bryan now. We got the better. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, that was so well done, so good. The back and forth between both of them was just phenomenal. Steph and D-Bry both did a really great job with that. Now, fast forward to the end of Raw. Triple H kind of flubbed up a little bit here and there. We kind of understood what he was trying to say. We got the point because he said what he was trying to say twice, and he made the point twice. And I saw Vince kind of look at Triple H like, "What are you doing, Hunter?"
Damn it, boy. Well, you can't blame them when you've got another 6 or 7 extra minutes to kill because of something else happening earlier in the show that we'll get to later.
Yeah.
That might have been it.
Yeah, they had to fill time.
From the episode of Raw, I didn't see anything that was extended any longer to fill in that void.
It could have been Triple H like to hear his voice.
That too.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, you can't count that out.
Because he can. It's like one of two things. He's either going to repeat himself over, or he's just going to enunciate the letters longer.
Yeah.
He's the game. That's what he does.
Marry a $3 slut for a wife.
But once they finally got to the point, and I think that's what makes this story great. It's just that they're taking all these kind of somewhat backstage things, but not really. We kind of already know whatever, and they're making it into the actual storyline that's on TV. Oh well, Bryan's too short. He doesn't look like the typical WWE guy. He's not the right size, and he's all scruffy or whatever. He's not really championship material, and that should be kind of backstage-ish kind of stuff. Yeah. And they're using it, and they're bringing it to the forefront, and it just adds a level of realism, and I think it's making the story good.
I was thinking about that. It's like, I wonder when the McMahons were talking about that, I wonder like how much of that is real? Like, how much did the McMahons really see? Like, is he really the face of the company? Look at this guy. I just wonder, because they're used to John Cena for the last decade, or 12 years, or whatever, or Orton, or, Pretty Boys or whatever, but D-Bry, he's...
And it comes a lot better coming from the McMahons. I had a split-second flashback to where Kevin Nash called CM Punk, so I was wrestling in my day, and we had Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and I was heavyweight champion, and now I come back, and there's this short-order cook from Waffle House wants to be the heavyweight champion with these tattoos, and this drug-free guy that looks like he does drugs all the time. Kevin Nash saying it is one thing, man. That sounded a little markish, like a shoot. But when it comes out of the McMahons, and it comes to Daniel Bryan, it just comes off a whole lot better. This is the part where I'm going to complain.
All right.
Did they just ruin the Shield for me?
Maybe.
Really? You've got a roster full of guys that the Shield has been fucking with for the past 9 months, and all of a sudden they're going to just stand there while the Shield's out there, number one, on their own, and number two, beating up on D-Bry. Post-match results, whatever happens when the camera's off to appease the crowd to make them go home happy.
Yeah.
I just couldn't buy that at all.
TV sake,
For TV's sake.
Right.
Like, what the hell? Like,
I see what you're saying, especially what happened during the show. Not even taking consideration what you're talking about, which makes sense too.
Yeah.
But this is a 3-hour show. A lot of shit happened during the show.
Ziggler was on stage. Big Show was on stage. They both got beat up by freaking Shield. You mean to tell me they're gonna just stand there with the rest of the roster and just
Right.
Well, maybe it's not the Shield that held them back from not wanting to attack. Maybe it was more the fact that Vince, Steph, and Triple H are all out there, and if you did something to interfere with their plan...
Big Show has an ironclad contract.
Oh! Okay, well, maybe Big Show could have, but,
And then Triple H's promo, how he doesn't like the guy, and he's trying to hold all his past feelings aside. And then when Orton congratulates Triple H, and not only does he shake his hand, he does that bro hug kind of thing where they lean forward and then talking to the ear. Like, there was a lot of stuff Triple H was saying in his promo that was contradictory later on to the actions that he did with Orton while they were in the ring. A lot of it just didn't jive. But maybe it's just the first promo. I'm waiting for, maybe it'll...
Yeah, they're kind of jiving. They're kind of gelling everything together
as the weeks go.
Now, the thing that I can agree with you on that part is when Orton does get into the ring, he shakes McMahon's hand, Vince's hand. That makes sense. Okay. Triple H, he kind of puts his hand out and he...
Slow.
Yeah. But then Stephanie, hugs him. It contradicted what Triple H was saying. I hate the guy, but I'm doing it for business. Where Stephanie just hugs him.
That's not business. That's after, behind the curtain, curtain jerk, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, that part, everything wasn't cohesive on their end on that part. But I think this is maybe a wait and see.
Work in progress this first week.
What happens with this? Is this a new corporation? Are they going to be bringing in other corporate guys? I was thinking the Shield was already part of that group.
Well, I think it's obvious to say that the Shield's part of that group. They were a part of Triple H's plan there at the end, where Triple H was like, "Hey, move aside so you can let him through. Don't touch him." And then
forget
they jump
the fact that Orton was in a in a 6-man tag at WrestleMania against the Shield, and all of a sudden the Shield's going to just let him walk through like shits and giggles. There's a lot of stuff that just throws me off a little bit. But we're trying to nitpick.
Well, wrestling fans don't have a good memory, so we have short-term memory.
They don't have a good memory, but things can also easily be fixed with just one backstage segment, something on the app, something small where it's just
they have outlets for it now.
Yeah, where it could be,
Do you want me to show you how to download the app?
No, shut up. Where it could be something like Triple H and Vince are talking to Randy, and they're like, "Hey, look, I understand you've had your differences with the Shield or whatever, but we're going to hire them, we're going to control them, they're going to be our guys," and whatever, and have Randy reluctantly agree, but since kind of like he's going with the devil that he does know type of thing, that'll work out, but tentatively, and then they could grow the relationship as the stable or corporation, whatever we're going to call it.
See, what you're doing right now, you're making sense. So they ain't going to do it. So there you go. And that goes back, because we always said that, things like McMahon coming back as chairman,
Right.
He was you know,
He wasn't
Triple
in
H.
the company anymore.
Yeah, Triple H cried and told him pop and all this stuff and shit, and he had to get out of the ring, whatever. And now he's like 6 months later, he was chairman of the board again.
Yeah. So
No explanation.
We as wrestling fans had to fill in our own blanks, and basically
Right.
be like, oh well, he must have just got his job back, and the board of directors just said that, you know, okay, yeah, we will go ahead and reinstate you. We never saw that on TV, but you know, we'll for our own sanity and our own ADD, we'll you know kind of fill in the blanks together and be like, okay, well that's what happened, you know. But it would be nice if WWE would fill in their own blanks, you know.
No. Well, that takes care of that.
Yeah, that takes care of that. And, you know, it's wrestling, and that's how it's been, and that's probably how it will be for a long time.
And at the end of the day, it got us talking about it. It got us watching, and sure as hell going to watch next week.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that really surprised me was when I was, after the pay-per-view was over, and yesterday morning, afternoon, where I was looking at some of the comments and stuff on some of the wrestling sites, Lords of Pain, that kind of thing, you know. I was looking for, like, a lot of...
Kayfabe Kick Out and Wrestle Enigma?
Yes, them.
There.
Yes.
Yeah, them.
They, you know, I was waiting for like a big backlash of like comments of like how shitty, you know, that was to do that to D-Bry, but I didn't really get a lot of that. I was getting a lot of, this was really great storytelling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and the reason why it's not shitty to do to D-Bry is because it made him the top face in the company.
Yes.
Yeah.
WWE made D-Bry this past weekend. They made him, you know, and yeah, sure, they made him through a loss. And, you know, through him getting his ass whooped. But at the end...
It's not the first time.
Yeah, it's not the first time. And at the end of the day, it's making him even hotter than what he was before. We have so much sympathy for him now that he is the sympathetic babyface, and we're going to cheer for him. He's more of an underdog. He's more of, you know, everything that we want to see in him, you know. And
you know what I want?
Okay, what?
I want a slight change to D-Bry's theme music. I want the very beginning. I just want to hear Glass Shatter.
No, why?
He's the new Stone Cold.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Actually, while you were...
I'm kidding, Chris. I don't really want that.
While you were explaining the whole process, I was starting to have flashbacks to WrestleMania 17 where Stone Cold reluctantly was joined up with Vince McMahon. That's what Orton and Triple H in the ring felt like at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. The way all that turned out. Yeah. It's not the first time he's had a loss. As a matter of fact, you hit the nail on the head. The loss at WrestleMania 28, the next night, Bryan was so hot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
he was so over. This loss that he took last Sunday, not only is he super hot, but he's combustible. Like the stuff that comes near him is getting just as hot. Orton went from to that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Last night's interview with Stephanie went from, oh, she looks pretty good in a suit skirt to
bitch.
Yeah.
Just like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just, and anything that touches Bryan right now, it's gonna be super over. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure emotionally, you know, we had it tugged our heartstrings. Bryan got his moment, but that's how they got us. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's how we're going to keep watching, and that's how I'm going to keep looking forward to it.
Yep.
So they know what they're doing, bastards, but you know, we got to give the devil his due.
Mm-hmm. So we're all looking forward to what's going on in the future.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is really good stuff, and it's making Orton interesting, and that's all I wanted. Yeah, exactly.
So I've got a question for you guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Is this a payoff that Bryan gets the belt back at WrestleMania, or could this last that long?
I don't want to say WrestleMania.
Maybe.
How can you top the moment of SummerSlam? Would you do it at Hell in a Cell? Would you do it at TLC here in Houston?
Yeah.
Rumble? Chamber?
Survivor Series?
What else? Survivor Series? You think Survivor Series is up there? Like, what would happen? How would you...
Well, we were talking about this, me and Trav were, last night when we were watching Raw. What we think this is going to lead up to for Survivor Series is 5-on-5 with the new corporation versus Team Flying Goat. And
I didn't call it that.
Yeah, he didn't call it. I called it that. But it would be The Shield, Triple H, and Orton versus some combination of D-Bry, Ziggler, Show, Mark Henry, RVD, or I don't know, filter out one or two other little guys there to be on Team Flying Goat. But
let's let the story progress, then we'll be able to do that.
Yeah. But that's kind of more or less what we're thinking that'll wind up happening for Survivor Series, and I think that'd be damn good. You know, to have
the only I told you, like when we first talked about that, I said my only concern about that is I like the direction of bringing in like all new guys like the Shield. D-Bry, Ziggler. I like it all being fresh faces. That's why that's the only reason that I don't really want to see Big Show, Henry involved in a feud like this, or maybe it's Triple H, to an extent. But just fresh faces and heels.
Well, you do have to have some element of the older guys in there because you can't pass the torch if it's all the young, new, fresh faces doing the stuff. You got to have somebody else in there to kind of pass the torch, give credibility and whatnot, But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it doesn't need to be all the old guys.
Well, there's 3 pay-per-views before Survivor Series, so that's going to be a lot of work if you're calling it. That's what it's building up to.
That's true. And wasn't Battleground also supposed to be like some sort of weird team on team theme or something?
Yeah, we've got Night of Champions, and then we've got Hell in a Cell, and then we've got
Battleground, then
or
Survivor
one of
Series.
or the Battleground and Hell in a Cell are switched off, one of the two. But those are the 3, and then Survivor Series.
Yeah. All right, well, enough of that. We'll see how that goes, and maybe that will come around once Battlefield. What's it called again? Battleground. When Battleground comes around. Battlefield. That'd be a crappy name for a pay-per-view.
Unless there's tanks and guns and stuff, then
Tank Abbott, Major Guns.
Hell. Is that blooper reel worthy?
It should be.
Maybe.
Abel said it, so yeah.
A little bit. But let's move on. All right.
There was another big topic at SummerFest.
Yes. We dropped the SummerFest. SummerSlam.
WrestleFest?
Yeah, we dropped that too.
Battlefield.
There you go.
Battlefield.
Remember Battlefield Earth?
I kind of do. I vaguely remember that.
Terrible. Okay, so there was Punk and Lesnar.
Punk versus Lesnar. Not only is it going to be a match of the week candidate, it is my vote for match of the week, and I also want to nominate that as match of the year candidate.
Yep, that is going to be a match on WWE's release of Best of 2013 disc.
It should. It very well should.
Yeah.
So, to recap,
which
as far
D-Bry
as
and Cena would be on that too. That was a damn good match too.
Right.
But yeah, okay.
Match of the year candidates so far that we have is Punk Cena from Raw, and then D-Bry Cesaro from Raw, and then this match from SummerSlam, Punk versus Lesnar.
You guys don't have the Brian Ryback from Raw?
No. It was good, and I think it was our match of the week, but I don't want to nominate that as match of the year.
It is Ryback after all.
I mean, it was good, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
It was good on D-Bry's behalf. Ryback, he kind of carried Ryback. But in this match, let's get back to Lesnar Punk. This match, they both brought it. And, oh god, they both did such a great job. When Lesnar had the upper hand, he had the upper hand. Like, he was tossing Punk all over that freaking
Literally
ring.
tossing him several times.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then whenever Punk started getting in offense, he was just doing all kinds of little flurries of kicks and punches and doing all kinds of
elbows.
Mr. Kung Fu, Muay Thai master stuff.
And to his credit, Lesnar did a great job selling Punk's attacks.
Yes, good point, Travis. I also noticed that too.
He did it perfectly. He didn't oversell anything.
Right, exactly.
He just sold the stuff Punk was doing for what it was, and it looked really good.
Yeah, it did. And here's something that actually added to the match in a less is more kind of sense. No Curtis Axel interference. Mm-hmm. We were all expecting it. We were all kind of dreading it, even a little like, oh, where's Curtis Axel going to get involved? And he never did.
Yeah.
So, kudos. And
that's part of the fact that this was such a good pay-per-view overall. There wasn't a lot of shenanigans and tomfoolery. There was just straight-up matches.
Yeah.
So
now, not to say that there wasn't shenanigans and tomfoolery in this match. There was because
that was expected because
because it was Heyman. But I think
that's the exception. That's okay for Heyman
because it's Heyman,
right?
And it was well done. He did it well, and it also allowed Punk to exact a certain measure of revenge onto Heyman, which is a big component of this storyline.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that was good, seeing Punk getting some of that on Heyman, and even on Raw, Heyman came out in a sling to sell it. So that was all good. But the story of it was that Punk wanted to get at Heyman so bad that it cost him the match with Lesnar. And that's why I thought it was okay. If Curtis Axel came out, it would have been just shenanigans and tomfoolery, and that's it. With this, it's like the crux of the whole storyline has to do with the friction between Punk and Heyman. So, of course, you gotta have some sort of payoff with that. So, I thought it was just well done. It was great. Storyline-wise, it was great. In-ring-wise, it was phenomenal all the way around.
Yeah, and like I said, both guys did a great job of selling everything, and the match was made to look, it was believable. Mm-hmm. Like they said the whole David and Goliath thing.
Extremely believable.
Yeah, it's you could imagine Punk being able to take out Lesnar. Mm-hmm. You know, and it wasn't so far-fetched or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though Punk was getting his ass whooped, which he was, it was still believable enough to the point that he was using his strength, his speed, his ability, his agility, and all his technique.
Right.
Like, it took everything that Punk had to take out Lesnar and to compete with Lesnar, and it made Punk look like a competent wrestler. Like, competent enough that he could take on somebody that's outweighs him by 100 pounds, you know?
I don't even think wrestler is the key word. You say Punk brought out everything Punk had. Punk brought out stuff that I didn't even think Punk had. You know, that triangle choke with the arm.
Oh, yeah, that one sequence
and
of
then
events.
Lesnar countering it with the power bombs, just like Rampage.
Yeah.
Just
and
like
he
Rampage.
held
and
on.
then he got it, and he kept it. Oh, my God. And then Lesnar's... The reason why it was so believable is because you can literally see it on both of their faces. You saw the bruises and the bleeding from Punk's back. You saw Brock Lesnar's face turn into a plum halfway through the match because it was getting so red and he was getting so beat up and getting so blown out. The visuals, they told us that just like the promos where the first promo where Punk was aging in front of Lesnar. How that told a story. This match told a completely good story from beginning. Everybody involved told the story to a T, and I think that's why. I think, in my opinion, that's why we've got it as match of the year as opposed to Bryan Cena, just as a match of the week candidate, because we kind of expected what Bryan could do. We kind of knew for all the chance that Cena can't wrestle. You know, he he did his part, especially with his elbow trying to give birth to a golf ball.
Yeah.
He did what he could, you know. The spider suplex on the corner Bryan did was freaking epic, you know. You rarely ever see that, especially them going to the Japan route with the slapping, the straight up bitch slapping with each other. Yeah. But we kind of knew what we were going to get with them. As much as I kind of knew what I was going to get with this match, even then, as high as the expectations were, as high as my imagination was for months saying, man, you know what, Punk would be a really badass opponent for Lesnar with the MMA background and all that. As high as my expectations were, it blew it completely out of the water.
Mm-hmm. Do you think people were expecting more of just a brawl?
I think people were expecting more of a Brock Lesnar raping Punk, because you just look at the difference. Yeah. You know, Lesnar's huge beast, and CM Punk is like... CM Punk wasn't the underdog. CM Punk was the bitch. You know, and he showed it, and he talked the talk, and in the match he walked the walk perfect. Yeah. You know, and I think because of that, and how the build-up was from the beginning, that's match of the year hands down for me. Definitely. So far. I know we've got 4 or 5 months left, but it's going to be a tough act to follow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, just so that we can address this, because some people might disagree with us, I just want to ask the question, should we throw in Bryan Cena as another nomination for Match of the Year? I mean, we have these other 3. You know, should this one be in there with it? Because it was damn good. But do we want to say that it's Match of the Year along?
For voting's sake, why not?
Yeah.
It's not good. The fact that it's in the mix isn't going to change my decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, but
we can throw it in as a match of the year candidate. Yeah.
So from one pay-per-view, we've had 2 match of the year candidates added.
This
to
was a
our
damn
list.
good pay-per-view. I mean,
I think that really speaks to how well.
like
the
if you're
pay-per-view
gonna
is.
like seriously, I mean, if you're going to try to get a new like someone to watch wrestling in the current product, wait for this DVD to come out and give them this DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that some of our feelings towards Cena Bryan is kind of skewed by the fact of all the shenanigans that happened after with Orton and the cash-in and all that?
No, because everything happened after the match.
Okay. All right. So we genuinely feel as though Punk Lesnar was better than Cena Debra.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to make that clear. I do feel like that as well.
For the like I said, the stuff that we saw between Cena Bryan, we've seen almost all of it. The knee to the head, the spider suplex, a couple of other moves, the chain wrestling between the two. I kind of didn't see it coming, but I knew it was possible. Mm-hmm. But the Lesnar Punk match broke so many dimensions. You could literally see it on their bodies. You could see it on their faces. You could see it.
Beat up.
They told it. What if Cena Bryan told a really good story? Punk Lesnar told a really good 3D story. Mm-hmm. That's what that felt like, because every sense was captured when you're watching Punk Lesnar. Everything.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, regardless of what expectations we had for either one of the 2 matches, I think that's what's...
And not even taking
into
consideration the storyline, like what Abel was talking about, you know.
You didn't need a storyline. We don't even need to tell.
But that just enhanced the story. That just enhanced that match even more.
Yeah, it just does. If we were to tell a friend, look, I'm gonna show you these 20 minutes of wrestling and I'm not gonna tell you anything.
Right.
You just watch this. You dude's gonna be like, holy shit, what the hell did I just see?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So let's give a moment to apologize to any of the fat people that are wrestling fans that got offended by Punk's promo last night. To Punk's defense, you have a bad representative, because that you don't boo a man that just went through hell and not expect a backlash. You know,
especially Punk of all people.
You know, if I was in the crowd, I would have beat Punk to the backlash. You've been to enough shows with me. I'll do that shit. I'll sink to that level, and I'll go even further below. Punk beat
you do, and it's hilarious when you do it.
Yes, Punk is my idol. He put that sumbitch in place like this. Yeah. Like his penis went from outie to innie after that. It was that bad. The Cubs fan that fucked it up for his World Series chances, that guy that's in hiding right now, that's what this chubby dude's gonna be. He can never show his face anywhere ever.
He got owned. People still say owned.
Oh my god. But that's Punk's character. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not the baby face where he's supposed to be all high and mighty like Daniel Bryan and just like let the crowd do the work for him. Punk's gonna be in your face, and that's why people like him, because he doesn't hold back. He doesn't say anything.
That was an unexpected pipe bomb we had.
Yes, but it was worthy.
Yes,
yeah.
He had a reason to do it.
So you should thank that guy for booing him.
Yes, and that promo,
and then the fact that Heyman got on the guy too.
As much as anti-be a star as that promo was, it enhances and it reminds you why you like Punk.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that attitude he had towards that Chubbs, he's had it to everybody. Doesn't matter if you're 5,000 pounds wide or if you're a former UFC champion. Even if you're going to get your ass beat or if you're going to get your ass eat. He will still He will still step up to you, and he will still do whatever he needs to do. And that promo rejecting Heyman's apology and that street fight, you know, credit to Axel too.
Yeah,
you know, that just further enhances the whole storyline with Punk and Heyman.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how sustainable it is though to have Curtis Axel to be the guy that's going to be there in Lesnar's place. You know, when Lesnar's not there, because. I mean, Punk took care of him already. So, I mean, who else is Heyman going to have that's going to be able to be that piece to be the guy that represents Heyman while they're still feuding?
And then on top of that, Axel has the Intercontinental Champ. I don't want to see Punk go to a point where this feud goes so long that he somehow ends up Intercontinental Champion.
No,
he doesn't need that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't need
that.
him taking steps back. We need to keep him taking steps forward.
Yeah. This might be a step forward for Curtis Axel,
yeah,
but not necessarily for freaking CM Punk.
Yeah, I don't want to see him as the IC champ either.
Yeah.
So what's next?
All right. So what's next? Let's see. You know what? I want to talk a little bit about the tag division and several different things that happened over the course of the week, even before SummerSlam. Let's go ahead and bring this up a little bit with the stuff that happened with old boy D Young. You know, D Young came out, told TMZ that he was gay. All right, good for him. Way to go. When it happened, I felt as though I didn't want this to affect him neither positively or negatively. Because I don't think it should affect him positively or negatively. I think that,
it doesn't affect us at all.
Yeah.
If anyone were to ask me, what do you think about Darren Young being gay? I would say, as long as he doesn't try to fuck me, I don't care. I really don't. I don't have anything against it, whether it's Catholics or gays or bisexuals or anything. As long as you don't try to convert me, you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. If it makes you happy, go for it. I will respect your decision.
Exactly.
So I think I was surprised of the lack of response. That people, I was expecting people to be like, oh yeah, it's good for him, congratulations, all this and that. If you have so much of a response, either positively or negatively, that means you have an opinion towards it. Mm-hmm. And we don't have an opinion towards it because we really don't care.
Yeah.
Not care is like we don't care about the person. It doesn't affect my opinion of you. I'm not going to hate you because you're gay.
Right.
I'm not going to love you because you're gay.
To me, it's not an issue.
Still cool. It's not an issue. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah, it's not an issue, and it's as Chris opens up a can of Coke.
You guys are drinking that blue Crayola looking Jones drink.
Jones Soda Berry Lemonade. This stuff is the bomb. This is great stuff.
This week's episode of Houston Wrestling Radio is sponsored to you by
Jones Soda Berry Lemonade.
Bring us product. Give me a reason.
See, I don't have a higher or lower opinion of Darren Young now, the same way how I don't have a higher or lower opinion of you when you said you never tried Jones Soda.
Thank you, sir.
I can't believe that you haven't had a Jones Soda. I was surprised. And I was a little surprised that Darren Young was gay. I was like, oh, he's gay? Okay, cool. Fine. But so what? You haven't tried a Jones Soda and he likes men. Let's move on.
Did that warrant a face turn?
Well, according to WWE, it did, and that's where I was going to with this, because I was going to say, I really hope that they don't bury him and get rid of him and whatever, because that would have been wrong.
Or repackage him.
Yeah, or repackage him. What I also kind of didn't want happen was all of a sudden push him to the moon. Oh, he's gay. Guess what? Let's be yay pro gay and all this and that, and have him come out like Orlando Jordan and be flaming and everything. Just let him be him. We've said it for such a long time that the primetime players deserve a push, and they had been on this losing streak.
But not because of this, though.
Yeah, not because of this. You're right. You're exactly right. I don't want him to get a push because of this. But if they happen to get a push, okay, sure, whatever. As long as they stay true to the primetime players. The character that they already have, they already established, and their in-ring work that they've already proven that they could do and that they're good at. So why not let them be them and just have a more prominent role? And if this gives them an excuse to push them a little bit, so be it. But, you don't need to go out and totally capitalize on it. All that being said, yeah, all of a sudden, their faces on Raw.
Yeah. The one thing I was listening for, and I'm glad it didn't happen, was the announcers didn't mention anything about that.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about it at all, which I'm kind of surprised. I'm glad they didn't, because like I said, it shouldn't be something that's discussed. Because and another thing that a lot of people are having trouble separating is the guy that plays Darren Young announced he's gay. Darren Young, the character, is not.
Well, it could be, but we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. But as far as they're all talking about women and money and all this other stuff, so you'd assume.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are not understanding that he plays a character.
Yeah, he plays a character, and we've said it for a while that we wanted those characters, the primetime players, to be more prominent. And if this is going to give WWE an excuse to rise them up to a little bit more prominence, why not? After all, they won a semi-high profile match, at least for the tag division anyway. You know, they beat the Usos, and the Usos have been feuding with the Shield, and they've been...
because they're fighting heels.
Yeah.
Because when we were watching the match, I said they're fighting heels. They're faces now. And you're like, oh yeah, they are.
Yeah. Well, they were acting like faces. That was the thing that, you know, they were getting the face reaction.
The thing is, we're having a problem is there's no explanation of why they're just all of a sudden faces.
Yeah. The way the match was booked was completely weird. Not in a bad way. I think they got the pop, number one. It was a really loud pop. Probably one of the biggest ones of the night compared to everything else that happened. Like Punk, Bryan, you know that's up there.
Right.
But next under the pecking order that night probably would have been Primetime Players. Might have just been because
Zeb Coulter.
Dirty Dutch and Zeb Coulter got so much of a bad reaction that they would have cheered Vicky Guerrero if she came out.
Right.
Just somebody to shut them up. Am I the only one that noticed that they both looked extremely more comfortable together last night, the Primetime Players? Like, for some reason, I just got the vibe off of Darren Young that he looked 10 times more happy to be there. Yeah. And Titus Young looked 10 times more happy to be there.
Well, yeah.
It just...
Well, after the match, they hug each other and all this other stuff.
But it was a lot more... Not in the gay sense. Right,
I know.
But they looked like... they won a WrestleMania match almost, or a pay-per-view match, because they were extremely...
Well, I mean, it's been a love fest for Darren Young over the past week. I mean, of course it's going to put you in a better mood when every time you go onto your Twitter feed, people are like, hey, man, you know, I'm glad you're, you know, whatever.
And then the other thing that kind of struck me not odd, just different, is not only is that they've become face, this is the first time we've seen that Darren Young is a face, period. He's been in Nexus. Mm-hmm. He's been in... What else?
The Core? No, he wasn't in the Core.
He was Nexus post CM Punk. He was still in Nexus.
Oh, okay.
And then he did Primetime Players. He did heel work with Justin Gabriel, and then he did Primetime Players. But this is the first time he's ever been a face in the company. Mm-hmm. And man, he looked good.
Yeah. And
Titus, they both like the crowd was getting into the Titus Seal. Barking or whatever, and then they got into.
Well, they have.
They've got charisma to pull off the face stuff. Except and obviously, like, you know, the whole Steve Austin thing where you get booed, but the people like you. Eventually, the crowd makes the decision for you, and they make the decision almost every time correct.
And you could say that's a case for them turning them face, but there was no. It was just like a 180 switch all of a sudden.
Yeah, there wasn't any precedent.
It was all of a sudden, and I think the reason being was because of the news.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, we probably, you know, don't care, but there's going to be other people out there, the TMZ type people, the Eve type people that'll see that and be like, oh man, that's really cool. It's a story. Yeah. Let's get into it, and they're going to support him and they're going to like him, and all of a sudden he's a face.
My main thought that popped into my head was that it wouldn't be politically correct to boo the guy that's gay, which is why
that's
they try to
true
turn faces. You know, as a company, you don't want to have a bad guy that's gay, and when people know he's gay,
at least nowadays,
people will make the perception that he's a bad guy because he's gay. That doesn't make us look good.
You could be onto something.
Just like the whole vegan thing with Bryan, like they've been, not that they had to announce it, but they were announcing the strongest vegan ever, and all of a sudden he got all this vegan support. You know, and oddly enough, I don't think he's gotten. Ever since they made that announcement, I don't think he's gotten booed since, or they hadn't booked him as a bad guy since. Did anybody?
I didn't catch that connection. But,
maybe I don't know. We'd have to research that one.
But yeah, I think the PC thing was to not to give off that perception that now that it's out in the open, because it got picked up by big time news markets.
Yeah,
that Darren Young came out,
and hell, if it brings more people to wrestling and more eyes to the product, then it would be a good thing, because I guarantee you there's probably at least a little bit of people that probably are gay that never really was interested in WWE anyway, but saw the news. It's like, you know what, let's tune in and see what's up with this gay guy. You know?
Yeah.
Well, they probably wouldn't say it like that, but...
Well, yeah. You know what I mean, though.
you know, it's kind of funny we said it was a non-issue or anything, but we spent like 15 minutes talking about this already.
Well, yeah.
Just the repercussions, I guess.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
But another thing I want to bring up about the tag division. Los Matadores. Yeah, after we
your cousins, right?
Yeah. After we get done talking to Tito Santana a couple of weeks ago,
El Matador. Is he going to be the manager?
Oh God, that'd be so great! Tito comes back on TV. But, I got excited for this at first glance, because we were fast forwarding through the commercials because we were behind, whatever. And, we kind of blew right past it. And we were like, wait a second. What the hell was that?
Was that a vignette?
Was that a vignette? What was that? So we rewound it a little bit and rewatched it. And for a split second, I thought maybe one of them would have been Generico, and maybe that's how they're repackaging Generico. And I was like, oh my god, oh, this is cool. But then
I ruined it for you.
Well, no, you didn't ruin it for me. Okay. There was the suspicions that were already there, but when we started talking before we started recording,
I think we joked about it.
We joked about it that maybe it's just Primo and Epico. But Chris over here said that he read all the
scoop,
sheets.
Yeah.
It's on the internets. It's on the World Wide Web. So it was on TMZ, so it must be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Primo and Epico.
It's Primo and Epico. That's really disappointing because, I mean, you're really gonna... I mean, Chris, you and I, let's forget about Travis here for a little bit. Chris, you and I, we're Hispanic. So we kind of understand how it would be really kind of messed up to take some Puerto Ricans who've had a Puerto Rican gimmick and say, hey, you're Mexicans now. Like, come on, isn't that a little messed up?
I don't know. They all
Travis, you can't talk. This is a Mexican thing.
They all look the same to me.
Just like all Asians do, right?
Right. Yeah.
I love the gimmick idea. More comedy, more belief suspending gimmicks. I love it.
Doomsday.
Yes.
I initially thought of Doomsday Wrestling.
Yeah, it could have been a commercial for Doomsday Wrestling. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I'm picturing Doomsday Wrestling.
I can seriously picture a tag
the
team.
match would be the Matador tag team against two guys in a bull suit.
Yeah.
And the bull just like runs around, and the Matadors have the cape and whatever, and then when the bull tips over, that's the match.
Right.
But the whole Primo and Epico thing.
The Matadors versus the Gentlemen?
Maybe.
That'd be an interesting little high society match right there,
You guys have had your gripe about the difference in or the difference in the new AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I would, as much as I like the gimmick, and then as much as I didn't like how it turned out to be Primo and Epico, I would like the gimmick if it's different. Don't give them Hurricane Ranas. Don't give them the flippy dippy stuff. Give them a different style so that the fans won't immediately chant, "We know Primo," or all this stupid like wrestling chants that all these moron virgins do because they've watched wrestling 5 years ago or 5 minutes ago and they want a bronze star. No, make them look completely different. You got the costume right.
Yeah.
If you get a new manager, because apparently I don't think what's her face is going to be the manager for them.
Vicky.
No, Rosa.
Wait. Oh, Rosa.
Yeah, if you're going to give them a new manager, so be it. If not, that's fine. You're going to change the character up, that's cool. Don't half-ass it. Give them new moves, give them new finishers.
They're not going to give them new moves. They're going to be luchadors, man. They're going to be doing the flippy-dippy stuff.
Doesn't have to
Tito
necessarily.
Santana didn't do flippy dippy.
Yeah,
He's old school.
Technicos and Narutos. You can either do the high flying stuff or you can do the more grounded stuff, just like in Mexico. So we've already seen them do the technical stuff. Now let's see them do the rudo stuff. Let them see if they have a different style, if they can adapt, if they can show more utility than just the standard stuff to make them stand out. So raise their worth in the brand a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see it.
Another moment that I bring up Mexican wrestling and you just get lost because you're just sitting there with that shit-eating grin.
You know what? He told me to shut my mouth, so hey, whatever. I'm just here.
Well, you don't need to talk when he tells you to shut your mouth, but I'm looking at you. I like you. I tolerate your conversation. You can talk to me.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I can talk now?
Why not?
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Where's Hammer when you need him? Shut up, Chris.
Because here's the situation. If Hammer's here to shut me up and you already shut him up, it's not going to be much of a podcast, is it?
No, it's not.
Hammer just take over. Hammer do the show.
Me, Hammer, crush everything me bad. Waiting for that match, Hammer.
Oh, man.
I could kick your ass in WWE 13.
God, I hope Hammer is listening to this.
Creative Wrestler Chris versus Creative Wrestler Hammer. Book it.
Book it now, yeah.
For the convention. Nah.
Yeah. All right, so interesting stuff happening in the tag division, I think, anyway. Hopefully we'll get some more.
Without blowing past that real quick, what how is the state of the tag team division?
I think
that's always been a question this past year, since Triple H said he's going to be kind of redoing the tag division. Has it been a success?
So far, yes, but there's work to be done. putting the tag titles on the Shield was a good move because the Shield, they're the hottest thing going. Now that they're not necessarily the hottest thing going, and now that they're probably going to be in this bigger stable with the whole corporation thing, they might need to take the titles off of them.
They don't need them anymore.
Yeah, right. They don't need them, and you don't need the tag titles tied up in a big, huge faction thing.
Unless you wanted all champions in the stable, then yeah.
True, but the problem with having the tag titles, or any title for that matter, in a huge stable that's already part of a main event feud is that anybody that wants to just challenge for that title is all of a sudden automatically swept into the main event feud.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
It could be a good thing, but it's probably going to wind up being a bad thing because everybody that... It's like half of your programming is going to be the corporation versus WWE guys. The same way how in TNA half of your programming is Aces and Eights versus Main Event Mafia. The same way how in WCW even more than half of the programming was NWO versus the rest. You know, you need to have storylines separated out, on what's essentially a variety show. That's what wrestling is. You know, it's a variety show. There's different storylines, different angles, different characters, different styles of wrestling that go on.
I still say the original ECW was the best example of how you can weave characters in and out of stories. You know,
a very close second for me would be old school NWA/WCW with the Four Horsemen, where Ric Flair said, "If you want this title, if you want to go through me, you got to go through all of us one at a time."
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go that route with Daniel Bryan, if Daniel Bryan has to fight every one of the Shield first, or the tag team, and then get up to the very top, it wouldn't make sense to tie up the title belts because that's time that could be invested having the title belts in play in the tag team division rather than have them tied up with the stable. You know, you said that any belt doesn't work there, and it doesn't, except Orton's belt, except the main belt,
belt.
Yeah.
Except the belt. Every other secondary belt, I'm waiting for the Shield to lose them because at this point they don't need them anymore. It's one thing getting a rub because you're tag team champion or because you're a United States champion, a secondary title, and then there's the rub you're getting because you're working with the McMahons and you're working with the heavyweight champion.
Right.
That point, you don't need the belts
the main
anymore.
Event scene.
Yeah, you're done. You don't need the belts anymore.
That's why the last pay-per-view, I think it was Usos versus Shield.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to lose. I wanted Shield to, because it's like I said, they don't need them anymore. Right. And with Shield being the top guys that they are, it's like they're the outsiders. You know, Hall and Nash. You know, it's like no one can beat them when it's not. You know, so you have all these teams.
How many times do the outsiders have prominent tag team title feuds while part of the NWO? You know, I can't
in the
think.
beginning, before the group branched out, when it was Hall and Nash, before they brought in Hogan. When it was just a 3-man team, man, the outsiders had good feuds with the Steiners. They had good feuds with Harlem Heat. There's another team that's like stuck on the tip of my tongue I can't find. But once that NWO started getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, that's when it got lost in the shuffle. But at the core in the beginning,
Sting Luger I think was another one.
Sting Luger
before this whole thing. Yeah.
So right now, before that, the Shield is not. This was like 3-man Shield. The title belts, like you said, were perfect at the time. But now that it's not 3-man Shield, now it's 4, 5, 6, 7 men with the McMahon era. Yeah, it's time for them to ditch it.
Yeah. So that being said, who are we going to stick the straps on?
I was going for Usos. I thought they were doing good, you know, and they still are, you know. But
what about the Real Americans? Dude, their
that's
tag,
the top heel right now.
Their tag moves, their tandem moves are on point. That's just some great stuff.
And Zeb is always there to get them heat.
Oh yeah,
so you don't have to worry about their heat going away or anything,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
So
but
you got to get a face. You got to get them on a face first for them to take it from them.
True. So
Usos.
Oh, or primetime players.
Oh, they're faces now. I forget.
Yeah, they're faces now.
Besides the Real Americans, what's the other? Any other heel teams out there?
No.
Los Matadores? Are they going to be heels?
I don't know. It seemed as though from that commercial they weren't going to be heels. They were going to be kind of faces, but you can never tell with comedy wrestlers sometimes.
What is the state of the tag division right now? We have the Shield. We have the Usos. We have primetime players. We have Real Americans.
Do we still count Gabriel and Tyson Kidd?
Not right now because they're not here.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's only four teams.
Oh, Tons of Funk.
Tons of Funk. That's fine.
I can't forget about that.
But it's weird that
3MB.
3MB. All right, but they're not really like the top heels. They're just like Tons of Funk aren't the top babyface now. They're just like fodder. Like both of them just cancel each other out. I'm just thinking like a high profile like the tag team division. Like if the Shield's going to move on, the only heel like definitive heel tag team group would be Real Americans.
Would you consider putting back and making an actual team? R-Truth and Kofi, they're tag team champs.
No. They just need to do something completely different with Kofi.
Yeah, I don't want to get into a discussion with that.
We've had that discussion last week.
They were a tag team. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were former tag team champs. They were tag champs for a long time, and then when they split up, they made it a point to where they got each other's backs. Even though they're not a tag team.
Yeah.
So they could easily get the team back together if they wanted to. But
speaking of R-Truth, let's talk a little bit about the Wyatts.
Hell of a SummerSlam opener.
Yes.
The image of the fire going up during all the moves.
Yeah, during the high impact moves and stuff.
I'm glad that's the one of the very few matches, if not the only match, that WWE hasn't whored out.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a Ring of Fire pay-per-view or an Inferno pay-per-view or anything like that. This has only happened
3, 4 times.
This would be the third time.
You sure?
That this Inferno match happened.
I thought this was the 4th or 5th.
The first one was Kane versus Taker.
Right.
Kane lost. And then the next one after that was an Armageddon pay-per-view where it was Kane against MVP.
Yeah. That was on SmackDown. No, there was...
That was Armageddon pay-per-view. It was the brand split. It was a co-main event. It was Taker versus Kennedy in a last ride or ambulance or something match where Kennedy got tombstoned or something through a limo.
Okay.
That was the main event, and then the co-main event was Kane MVP, and MVP lost. He had that Power Ranger
the
outfit,
long one, right? Yeah.
So his arm thing got burnt, and I hadn't seen one after that. That would be this one.
I think there was like at least 2 Kane Taker Inferno matches. No. You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Somebody can Google search
Travis is on the case.
But I think I've got my money that this was the third.
I'm white.
One.
That's what I do.
Yes,
I got my money that it's the third one, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't like the finish.
You did not like the finish.
Not the fact that Bray won. I like the fact that Bray won, but after the whole process of elimination, the whole tarp covering the thing, I didn't like that.
You didn't.
It's just nitpicking. I didn't like it.
I think that if they were to have done something like that, they needed to have done more Inferno matches with at least 1 or 2 of them to where it's been established that the fire is the reason why you can't get in, and it prevents people from getting in, so that it makes it more special when it shows the cleverness that they have done to put the tarp over to get into the ring. It didn't mean a whole lot for this one Inferno match in the modern era that, they tried 3 or 4 different things and then one of them finally worked. Like, if they've done more Inferno matches over the course of the years, I'm not saying they needed to do 3 leading up into the pay-per-view. I'm saying that if there was, one like 2 years ago and another one the year before that or something like that, and it's like, well, we've seen somebody try to get into the ring with an Inferno match and they weren't successful because, they used a fire extinguisher, that didn't work. Then they could have played that up more like, the Wyatts aren't going to be able to get in, blah, blah, blah. And then when they finally did make it in by putting the tarp over the flames, that went, oh man, that was clever. I've never seen that before. Oh, that was a good idea, blah, blah, blah. But it got lost because it was the one match that half the audience has ever seen that's an Inferno match, and they did all the little gimmicks that they could have done to lead up to that point all in one match.
And plus the fact that it was the first time to fight, and it's already an Inferno match. There's no build up.
That's true too. But I think Bray and Kane, all that aside, I think they did a good job.
Great job.
Yeah.
Great way to open the show.
All right. Well, real quick, I do have a history of here. There's been 4 Inferno matches. Undertaker Kane, Unforgiven, 1998. Undertaker Kane, February 1999.
So there was 2.
There was a second one.
Booyah.
What was that? Was that on Raw?
Yep.
That's probably why.
There you go.
All right.
And
the
then
next
third one's
one.
Kane MVP.
Pendejo.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
No,
You got one.
no. Triple H versus Kane. SmackDown, 1999.
Oh.
To qualify for a six-pack challenge at Unforgiven 99, Triple H was ordered by McMahon to win at least 3 of 5 matches in one evening.
Oh, I remember that show.
Each match had a specific stipulation, and the game had already lost the first 2 when he was forced into an Inferno match against Kane.
Wow.
Okay. And then Kane. So this would be the 5th.
This is
one.
the 5th.
Right.
This is the 5th.
Except
match.
it wasn't an Inferno match because you didn't have to light your opponent on fire.
And you're right, that was Armageddon 2006.
3rd pay-per-view Inferno match.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of crazy to think they would have these matches on free TV.
even then, I'm still glad they haven't hoarded out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this was TNA, this would have been like the 30th or 40th Inferno match
Yeah.
already.
But I agree with you. I'm glad that they have not hoarded out, but I would hope that you understand my point about the gimmicks there. Yeah. Okay, good. As long as you get my point, that's all I care. Trav, since you were doing all your research there on the phone about the Inferno matches, you didn't really get a chance to chime in. Is there anything you wanted to add on that before we move on?
I don't know if you said that Book did a good job. Bray Wyatt got his ass whooped quite a bit in that match, and then did he look okay coming out of this match? I mean, he won, but
I think he looked okay. I mean,
or did he get lucky?
I don't know. I still think he had a fighter's chance.
He held his own.
I think he held his own, but yeah, you're right. He did get his ass whooped quite a bit in that match. But then again, when you're a leader of a heel stable and you rely on your underlings to do your dirty work, you're always going to be booked as weaker and needing to rely on your help and shenanigans and all that. So I don't have that big of a problem with it.
Especially when your opponent's bigger than you.
Yeah, that too. And yeah, he was in there with Kane. So
In his match.
Yeah, in Kane's signature match. So, I don't mind it.
Okay. Love the crucifixion story thingy that they're doing. The beheading with the stairs.
That was silly. I like the image of them carrying him out like that, but the steel steps when there's a big...
There's that big cutout triangle there where it's obviously not hitting his head. Yeah, that's a little...
But you forget about that when they have the right angle.
Yeah.
Which is something TNA needs to take a whole lot of cliff notes on. Like, they covered it perfectly, so where you see them raising it and you see them dropping it, you accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. You don't see the big gaping hole in the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know it's there, and so I couldn't accept that.
And at worst, that would have rang Kane's ears to bleed. That shit still does hurt.
Yeah.
After the crap he'd already been through in the match.
That's all they want to do. They want to bring his ears really bad.
Yeah.
Throw him off his game.
But the whole mental image of Wyatt getting out of the rocking chair and walking away with the Kane being dragged along by the two underlings.
Yeah.
I love where it's going.
All right. All that being said, let me get back to what I wanted to bring up as far as like R-Truth and Bray Wyatt.
Oh yeah, there's a point to all that.
Yeah. Okay. What in the hell happened there at the finish of that match? Was Bray really trying to dance with the limp and unconscious body of R-Truth, or did he just not know what side the hard camera was on?
That's it.
That's what it was. He was looking for the hard camera. And
I'm going to go with the fact that he was just dancing with him.
Yeah, because if it was he was just dancing with them, that's interesting as far as the cult leader aspect of it goes, and like
and that's why I'm saying that, because I could picture his character doing something like that.
Yeah, maybe he's doing something
he probably did fuck up. But I'm just saying that. I'm going with that.
At the same time, yeah, exactly.
I don't even think cult leader how do you mean cult leader?
He's the cult leader of the Wyatt family. Like
I was thinking a whole different aspect of him being a heel, rubbing it into the guy that dances. By dancing with him while he's unconscious, and then kisses him and then finishes him off.
Yeah.
But I think it's the hard camera. He forgot where it was, because even after the move, he was still wanting to pin him and didn't know how to pin him. Like if it was this way, or then he turned over and pinned him the other way so that the hard camera could see him do it. I think he was just camera placement. That's where I think, because everything else that happened after that just made it look like he got lost for a second, didn't know where he was as far as the dimensions of the arena.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe he got confused for a second and he just played with it.
Yeah. Just did it on the fly.
Yeah. Okay. What's next? What do we got?
All right. Yeah. Let's move on. We've kind of already talked about the Shield at length in this episode. But the last thing I really want to bring up as far as Shield goes is the stuff with Dolph and Show and all that. I kind of like the idea that Brad Maddox was like, okay, well, you're going to fight all three members of the Shield, and that's your, you're going to get your comeuppance because of that. But then when Brad Maddox did it again with Show, it was kind of like, well, now you're really screwing over your own team. Because you've already wrestled against a top-notch guy, being Ziggler. Now you're going to have him wrestle again against another top-notch guy. And oh yeah, that top-notch guy is the 500-pound giant Big Show. Like, I understand it's still 3-on-1, but come on, man. You're making him pull double duty, and that double duty is Big Show. Come on.
He beat me to it. Well, the difference was that it was a 3-on-1 tag match with Ziggler. There was only one guy in the ring at a time. And to even things out with the Big Show, he said, oh, fuck it, you're going to have to deal with all three of them. But I agree with that point. Not so much because of storyline-wise, but because Rollins had a hell of a night. Yeah. He injured his knee in the first match, and he was hopping around.
Was that legit, or is that storyline?
I think that's legit, because he had that going on all night.
I didn't see any reports or anything online, but I was thinking, because he kept selling that for every move. He was like holding his leg.
Not only every move, he sold it during the Ziggler match.
Yeah.
He didn't put any effort to the triple powerbomb with Ziggler.
He didn't put any weight on that leg.
He sold it through the Big Show match. It looked like he was about to drop the Big Show when he was pulling up the powerbomb, and even then he was selling it. And then even towards the night during the fight with Daniel Bryan, there's one instance where they were fighting near the entrance ramp, and then Bryan just kicked him right in that knee, and he just went down like a house of cards. Like he I think it's legit. Hopefully it's not bad, because you'd hate to ruin the storyline with the Shield. It's up there.
Yeah. But, like of all the times for you to, you're starting this new program with the McMahons revolving around the world. The WWE title. Oh, yeah, that's when you get injured. Great timing.
Game one of the finals. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But hopefully, he's going to be okay, and I hope he's just selling it. Now, somebody that wasn't selling it was Sin Cara. Yeah, he wasn't just selling it. He actually messed up his freaking wrist within the first minute or two of his match with Del Rio.
Broke his fingers or something?
He dislocated his finger.
Yeah.
They popped it back into place after the match, but for precaution, they had him get MRI because it could be worse depending on what got dislocated or if anything got broken. Mm-hmm. Haven't found anything yet, but
what was
this guy?
What was the first thing I said when that happened? He called the ref. I said, "Really?
Yeah,
already."
Yeah, this guy, man,
he's got the worst luck.
He's got the worst luck, man.
It's time to cash out the contract. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been trying to make stars align with this whole big Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, world record, WrestleMania, wear a mask, all this, or for whatever reason they're trying to pass the torch or whatever. I think the time has come and gone. Like I don't see a benefit now if he's going to keep getting hurt like this.
Yeah, WWE just needs to cut their losses with him, and then once his contract expires, just say, "Hey, it's been a great run. Just go ahead and go back."
But
to Mexico.
and they can bring anybody for that character. Just
Yeah.
get similar body sizes and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, hell, they did it for, 2 or 3 months where they had Unico.
Where's Unico? Yeah, bring him back.
Yeah.
He didn't botch anything.
That we know of.
Right? No, we know.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just keep rotating people in
He can bring
and
back
out.
the black Sin Cara outfit,
Yeah, that was kind of cool, actually. Yeah. Anyway, you never want to wish injury on a guy, and it sucks when somebody gets injured. But man, Sin Cara, he just keeps messing up moves, and when you mess up moves, you run the risk of injuring yourself and injuring other talent. And this guy has been injured more times than he's not been injured.
He's the Kennedy of this generation.
Yeah, and I really don't find that statement very fair because I don't think Kennedy was that injury prone. Like he was injured twice.
Not only that, he injured. He
injured
Cena.
Orton? Was it Orton?
And then he almost injured Orton on Orton's first match back, I think.
That's what it was. Orton was injured and he came back.
Body drop, he threw it wrong, and Orton went.
That was the NBA when they were with Denver.
That was the night that in that same match he injured his wrist. Doing a hip toss to somebody.
And after that, that was like the end of his career with WWE.
Well,
pretty much.
Either way,
pretty much.
Either way, Sin Cara is more injury prone than Kennedy. I think. Yeah, and I've never seen a guy so injury and botch prone as Sin Cara, and that sucks because I had such high expectations for him right before he debuted.
It might just be the atmosphere, because to my knowledge, the
stuff he did in Mexico was
stellar. He never got hurt in Mexico. He had no injuries in Mexico until he showed up here, and all of a sudden the Americans are beating the shit out of him.
That was the one thing I was hearing. That could be. Like you were saying, he's just more
style.
the style, the size ring, the size of the ring, the atmosphere. Yeah, he was just more comfortable He maybe he's not comfortable.
I don't
over here.
remember Sin Cara taking any time to go to developmental or FCW.
Yeah, they brought him straight in.
Huge announcement of him crossing borders from Mexico and how he took off the old mask and the new Sin Cara mask was. He got thrown right in the mix real quick. Del Rio was persistent that he wanted at least 6 months in FCW in developmental so he could try to adapt. Because he was going through changes too. You know, this was the first time of him wrestling without a wrestling mask.
Yeah.
Him trying to adapt, blend in some of the Mexican stuff that made his character good, but also bring in some of the American stuff to make it look like he can fit in. And Del Rio's look leaps and bounds better than Sin Cara, both physically and performance-wise.
Well, let's talk about Del Rio. He had a match with the RVD. And Ricardo...
First,
okay,
he had a match with Christian at SummerSlam.
True.
And before that, apparently he had a match at an Irish pub the night before.
Yes, he did.
I was wondering where he got the black eyes and all that stuff when he came out to the match with Christian to begin with. And it turned out that he got in an altercation the night before.
Irish pub.
And his old buddy, 3MB, Drew McIntyre, came out and helped him out.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Reports first were saying that he got in a fight with Drew McIntyre, but
which makes no sense because he's made it publicly clear that one of the best friends that he has that he's gotten along with since he's been back there has been Drew.
Yeah.
You know, so that really something must have really happened for that to happen. So
yeah, but that wasn't the case.
Pointed to no, and that wasn't once everything was straightened out.
Yeah, there's just some drunk dudes in a bar talking crap, and then they started trying to beat up the wrestler guy, and then that's when. You know, two wrestlers got involved in a big old brawl with a bunch of drunk dudes in a bar. Yeah. Idiots. Why are you going to try to fight somebody who fights for a living?
Well, fake fights.
Well, but still, I mean...
He knows an armbar. Let me get you to the ground. Once I get you to the ground, I'm going to break you.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, let's go ahead. Fast forward to SummerSlam. SummerSlam, that match, that was another stellar freaking match. Christian versus Del Rio. We called it. We said that they were going to have a great match. We saw that they had a great match on SmackDown before. So there's no surprises there. No surprises at all.
For whatever reason, I just couldn't get invested in that match.
Okay, that's fair. And that could be because of all the storyline or lack of storyline.
Not even that.
Build
the lack of storyline and the fact that we saw the match.
Yeah.
On free TV.
Exactly. The build and the booking just ruined it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the match itself wasn't good.
No, the match was great. But I just couldn't... I was watching the match, but I wasn't really watching the match. You know, it was kind of going on.
I think for all the undertones that was set that Orton was going to cash in at Raw, the opposite vibe that we got through that match and having the match already in the first place on SmackDown gave me the impression in the back of my mind that this was going to be the match where Money in the Bank would cash in. And I was expecting that to happen, and when it didn't, I was like, man,
that's what kind of got me. It's like nothing happened. You know,
like
Christian didn't win.
The match,
nothing happened.
The match that happened at SummerSlam didn't really need to if nothing was going to change from what happened on SmackDown.
Right.
Like nothing happened. There wasn't anything that altered the storyline any reason.
It was all very status quo.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know, like I said, even though all this stuff was status quo, take all that, rip it all, and throw it all out the window, put that to the side. The match itself was good.
Really good.
Really good. And match of the week candidate? I mean, of course, it's going to trail far, far behind those other two.
You can put in there if you want, but it isn't going to change what the match of the week is.
Okay. So, fine.
But I don't know.
I at least want to give it a nod.
Okay.
You know.
You can do that. It's your show. You can do it.
All right.
There's your nod.
All right. Let's fast forward to Raw. Ricardo is now announcing Rob Van Dam and not doing a very good job of it. It's nice to see Ricardo. It's great that Ricardo's going to try
It's random. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is random, but I mean, he has to kind of get his one-uppers on.
He can't fight it. He's not booked as a wrestler, so.
Yeah,
it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's what?
It's unnecessary.
Yeah. I can't see how he would announce Rob Van Dam in a way that would fit his style of announcing, you know? Like, it works for Del Rio, but...
I think I asked you that. I said, is Ricardo going to start announcing RVD in Spanish now?
Yeah, that really doesn't make sense. Like, this is what I said on Twitter, you know, about this. I love bacon, and I love ice cream. And I love Ricardo, and I love Rob Van Dam. Bacon and ice cream don't go together. Rob Van Dam and Ricardo don't go together. They just don't.
He obviously hasn't tried bacon and ice cream. It is the shit.
Bacon Sundays?
Regardless.
Bacon Sundays?
I still don't think RVD and Rodriguez
Okay. Tamales and ketchup.
What? You have not had tamales and ketchup.
No, salsa goes on tamales, not ketchup.
No, salsa goes on ketchup.
What do you mean salsa goes on ketchup?
As random as all that is, that's how random Ricardo Rodriguez and RVD's it goes.
There you go. Okay.
Well played, sir. You actually had me going for a second. I ain't gonna lie. All
right. Yeah, there you go.
Moving on.
Just the whiteness in me.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Sandow and Rhodes?
What's there to talk about? Other than Rhodes shaved his mustache off?
Their next match has to be for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and this is where Sandow wins.
Okay. And keeps the Money in the Bank briefcase.
But again, why would... I can't see a storyline going around where Sandow would put the case. He's been losing.
Sandow won't put the case on the line. Somebody else would interfere, or some general manager would say...
Heels. All the general managers are heels. What general manager is going to do that? See, you can't do it. See? There. Nah.
Yeah, good point. Okay, well, somehow, some way, they're got to finagle it into there, but who knows? Whatever. But yeah, Cody doesn't have a mustache anymore.
I'm just disappointed in the pay-per-view, the fact that it happened to where the World Heavyweight title match wasn't the first match on the card, so that at the end of that match,
so they couldn't tease us.
Sandow cashes in, and he beats him. So Sandow is a champ right before the match between him and Rhodes, and then Rhodes beats Sandow, and he's a champ.
Yeah, that could have...
that would have been epic.
That would have. They really missed an opportunity there, doing something really crazy and out of the box, and something that hasn't been done with the Money in the Bank briefcase before. I mean, I'd hate to say it, but if they don't start changing it up with the briefcase, it's gonna get stale. And it might... It's on the verge of getting stale. I wouldn't say it is stale, it's on the verge of getting stale.
Yeah, it's almost there.
They need to start doing different things with the briefcase, and something like that would have worked, where, you have basically 2 World Heavyweight Championship matches in one night that are full-length matches because of the way it worked out with the briefcase.
I'd go a step further and do Vengeance 2001, where Sandow would come in and catch the briefcase on Del Rio, and then the next match would have been Sandow's match. So Sandow just got the title, and already he has to defend it that second. Not wait 2 or 3 matches later on down the card, but like literally right after he wins it, his first defense, 5 seconds later.
His opponent that he was going to fight, his music hits, and he comes out.
There you go.
Yeah.
And he beats him too.
Either way.
Yeah.
It's a match. I'm tired of Money in the Bank matches that are just a run in, a pin, and that's it. To me, it's like cheapening a title change. It's just a cheap pop, really.
It's a quick fix.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why I'm not a big fan of the Money in the Bank, because
Travis likes all the foreplay before. He doesn't just want to hit it and quit it and just go in and out.
He doesn't like the foreplay.
Being a fan of both, you get tired of either one very quick if that's all you do.
You gotta mix it up.
Gotta keep the muscles guessing. That's how you get the workout.
Yes.
That's how you see results.
Muscle confusion. All right. Just a couple more things for WWE, then we can move on and get to TNA. Be a Ryback.
Shit balls, we haven't even talked about TNA yet.
I know, we haven't even talked about TNA.
Okay, Be a Ryback campaign.
Be a Ryback campaign. This thing on Raw was really creepy, with the guy taking him into the shower and like, oh god, what is he gonna
rape you?
Yeah, this had a really rapey vibe.
You're next.
And that's Abel's specialty. If there's anything that, there's a rapey vibe, Abel's gonna know about it.
Yes.
Skipping all that. Let's just pass all that. Who's going to be Ryback's first opponent to try to fight this bully?
I think it's going to be one. And I was saying, was I talking to you? Yeah.
Yeah, you were telling this to me.
Yeah, it's
this Mexican, not that Mexican.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
You look the same. Okay, so since
short, fat, tall, skinny.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Either that, or we're starting to meet closer to the middle.
We are.
We're making progress.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah. I'm losing weight. You're finding it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Blow my fucking mind. All right. Anyway, what were we saying? Oh yes,
You know, they do say that couples start to look alike once they've been together for long enough. You know. I don't know.
But the fact y'all both did it, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm sorry, Travis. Continue.
First defendant of the bullies. Who will it be?
well, that's what I was trying to get to here.
Was it?
This week, he actually did that to a wrestler. You know, I guess a jobber or whatever, who it was.
Yeah,
Some nameless guy. What? It doesn't matter. Anyway, the fact that he did it to him, I think this is going to be a start of every week. He's going to go into a locker room, and there's going to be some nameless, nobody wrestler there, and he's going to bully him around. That's going to happen for, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, whatever. And then the last guy he's going to do it to, whoever it happens to be, that's going to be, like, the opponent for the feud.
Like someone that would just step up and say, I'm not going to be bullied. And
he's going to be, like, the next roster of WWE or something.
So do you
They're going to bring in somebody to feud.
Okay, so you think it's going to be somebody that's not a named talent, and that's
Yes.
going to be the way to break into
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. Not somebody that's established, like he walks up to Justin Gabriel and starts punking him around. Justin Gabriel's
Right,
like,
yeah.
no. That'd be like Joe Schmo.
It would make sense in this case because he's doing this like nameless guys.
Okay.
And nobody said anything yet. So.
Here's the one thing that saddens me about that because of the potential that it could have been and for something different. Had our fella not gotten hurt, this would have been a perfect 1-800-fella moment. We got this bully here that's fucking with us. Sheamus versus Ryback would have been a really good feud.
Maybe that's where they were going.
Could have been.
Maybe that's where they were going, and maybe they're filling in option B with whoever ends up in this scenario.
Yeah, like bringing some from NXT, someone we don't know. You know, and he's like, and this guy from NXT, whatever, he's just sitting in the locker room minding his own business. Ryback tries to rape him or whatever, and then and then that's when he steps up, and then he starts fighting back. And then that kind of continues on as a feud.
I vote for Cassius Ohno.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
And that's how he gets a flash win over the big monster Ryback with a knockout victory.
Yeah, with the elbow.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Just an opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody has to take advantage of it. Vince.
Or Sami Zayn. He's small enough that he could be easily bullied. So I could see,
Yet when you don't see it coming, he can beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, just one Yakuza kick,
Yes.
Ryback's out. Yeah, why not? I vote for him more than Cassius Ohno. Although both would work.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I like my idea.
I do. I like your idea very much. Yeah, good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, that's it for WWE wrestling
Get out of
talk.
here. It is not.
Well, there's I don't know if we want to consider WWE wrestling talk. We could talk a little bit about the Total Divas.
Well, there's not much to talk about because we were too busy watching SummerSlam Fest Mania.
That's true.
That's the one bad thing about that show being on Sundays.
Yep.
It's going to fuck them up once a month.
Apparently, the ratings went down this week, and
I wonder why.
yeah, everybody was watching SummerSlam at the time. So, way to shoot yourselves in the foot there.
This would have been a good opportunity for USA to re-air that episode after this Raw that happened yesterday, and I bet you the numbers would have been just as high, if not higher.
Reason being, there's probably going to be a lot more male viewers for this episode.
Oh, yes.
Oh, giggity giggity.
Yep.
Man, not only did we get to see,
Tits and ass.
well, I was going to be more specific. I was going to say, not only did
Chris
we get
is
to
breaking
see,
it down to the bottom dollar.
I'm a very
Yeah.
lonely man right now, man.
well, you got to see Natalia, and, you got to see, one of the Bellas, Nikki,
The bigger
that
one.
yeah, the bigger one, in the, scantily clad outfits. So that was
Scanning
pretty
cut,
good.
it's lingerie.
Yeah, lingerie.
In the rubber bands and tassels.
Yes.
Slingshots and tassels.
Yep. Then the running theme
foreskin.
of the running theme of the Funkadactyls is one wants to get implants. So it was very.
There was a kind of a funnier scene later on with Jimmy or Jey Uso, which whenever it was. He got to touch some boobs.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So this
His
is
reaction, I felt awkward for him. So.
So
Because Samoans don't have boobs, so that's probably why.
I don't know. Have you seen his dad?
Well played, sir.
Female Samoans don't have boobs. Have you seen Tamina?
Oh boy. So interesting episode of Total Divas. The stuff with what's his name? Natalia's boyfriend, Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
So Tyson Kidd, that was pretty funny, messing around with the cat more than with Natalia. I was like, come on,
The wrong cat, by the way.
Right, the wrong cat, the actual feline.
The feline.
Yeah, the actual kitty. So it's funny. So it was an interesting little show.
Again, the guy's getting that exposure to make us more interested in the show,
Yeah, like
on the other side of Tyson Kidd, like I didn't realize the guy doesn't like to do squat, If somebody, Heart guys, all the training they do, you think they have a lot of activities, that they do a lot of things. Tyson Kidd just chills out.
Well, she said that's what it was until he got injured.
Yeah.
And then ever since the injury, he's been not doing shit. Yeah.
In every aspect.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah. And in any scene with Bree, it's got D-Bry in there. So you got D-Bry, bam, right there.
How do you guys feel that we've spent so much time talking about this show since it's aired?
I'm surprised.
Are you ashamed?
I'm surprised.
Are you ashamed, or does it bring you shame to call yourself a fan of an episode of a TV show that's on E?
Oh, when you put it that way. I like to say I'm a fan of something that's produced by WWE.
Okay, it's like this. I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why. I like the show because of the wrestling aspect. And I can watch it with my wife because she likes all the other drama bullshit that goes on in the show. So it's something that I can watch wrestling related with her.
All right.
So
That sounds plausible.
There you go.
All right then.
but not possible.
That's impossible.
All right. That's it for our WWE talk for this week, unless there's anything else that either one of you guys wants to just toss on in there.
No.
No?
I ain't tossing nothing.
TNA it is then.
Let's give the devil its due. For as good as pay-per-view SummerSlam was, this Hardcore Justice special Super Duper Impact, it was damn good too.
They tried. They knew they had a pay-per-view to get people's attention away from, and they did a pretty good job for what they're doing.
Yes, they did. I do give them kudos. It was a good episode, and there's a lot of important stuff. Well, that went down as far as like the title change and all that. But that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves. I want to start off with the ladder match, and even with all the awesomeness that was SummerSlam, I still want to say that ladder match also, bam, another match of the week candidate. Yeah. And I think that was a stronger match of the week candidate than the Christian Del Rio match that we threw on there. If the two really super great matches from SummerSlam weren't as super great as they were, this would have been a harder decision. Because I really
like if there wasn't a pay-per-view.
Yeah, if this was not a pay-per-view week, definitely that ladder match, hands down, would have been match of the week. Yeah. But, since it was a pay-per-view and since that pay-per-view was spectacular, it kind of overshadows this ladder match from TNA a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, hey, why not, and give the devil its due, like how Chris said. We gotta give him props, and match of the week, that ladder match was effing great.
So basically what you're saying is you like the match.
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I did like the match.
What about the finish?
The way that you put it earlier, before we started recording, when you said, we gotta talk about the fourth member of Bad Influence, you got both me and Chris. We're like, fourth member, what? And you're like, the Appletini, ha. Yeah, that was funny. I like the way that you did that.
I didn't really ha-ha like that, but whatever, okay.
Well, in my mind you did.
Okay.
You jerk.
Continue, sir.
So yes, the finish with the Appletini, it's great. We talked about it last week how Kaz needed that win in that match and Rude needed his win in his match, and that both happened. And I think that was pretty good. It went the way that it should have gone.
Right, it makes sense storyline wise.
It did.
I think that Appletini got some training from Sin Cara because he didn't get any of whoever that
he botched his move.
He botched the move.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it did kind of whiff.
Kind of is an understatement.
Yeah.
It wasn't another zip code.
Yeah. You're supposed to go diagonal. It went
It
up.
didn't even hit hair. Like the whole thing just went.
That's
missed
true.
it by that much.
That is true. But I still like the concept and the idea of using the Appletini as a weapon and that being their stables.
But what if you do that twice in one show?
Well, that is what happened, sir. It did happen again in the tables match. The tables match wasn't nearly as good, I think, as the ladder match.
I think because of the a tables match being a 4-person match instead of a team kind of thing was a kind of hard thing to grasp. You know, it wasn't just the person that goes to the table is the loser. That means somebody has to be the winner. So there was more thought involved. There was kind of more to it as opposed to a ladder match where you have to get that, and then once you got it, that's it.
Speaking of getting that on the ladder match, really? A clipboard with the number 20 printed on it? That's it? Really? You couldn't fucking put, like, something up there, some sort of icon, a briefcase? Yeah, I understand Money in the Bank. Yeah, whatever. A satchel. Something. Really?
A satchel.
You're just gonna put a piece of paper on a clipboard? Really? And it just has printed on there 20,
They couldn't
for
even
the 20 points.
They couldn't even put 20 points. Just 20.
Just 20. Just 20. Just go up there and get the 20. What the hell?
I think it did have points on it in very small font.
We couldn't see it.
They did whatever in ink.
That was the one bad aspect of the match, and of course I'm being nitpicky and
It was
jerk.
so bad that it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a B-movie plot device or something.
So anyway, yeah, both those matches, ladder match, table matches, the way that booked to further the storyline of this bad influence group, it worked, and it's kind of solidified them as a team, having
a threat.
Yeah, a team and as a threat. Yes, because now they both are higher up on that Bound for Glory leaderboard. And that's pretty good, especially since Magnus did not get any of those points, and Magnus lost those other 10 points last week. It's still anybody's game. So, kudos, good job, way to keep it interesting, I say.
I agree.
Now, all that being said, there was just 2 other matches on that card. One of them being the knockouts that turned into a 3-way.
Yeah, we should talk about that. The fact that...
Velvet.
Yeah.
What happened to her exactly?
I'm not sure.
We're not sure.
I didn't
hear anything about it. They're kind of vague about it on the show. All they said is Velvet's not here, so now it's a triple threat match.
Okay, but we didn't see anything on the dirt sheets or Twitter or anything?
We'll have somebody check that out.
Oh, like Travis right now.
One person
Way to prepare, guys.
One person that won't be in the match anytime soon is Taryn Terrell.
Right.
Oh, yes.
So, did you guys hear what happened?
No? Go ahead. Let her
Prager's.
Yes. Prager's. Freaking duh. That was quick.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah, she was a really, not like she's never going to wrestle again, but she's a good wrestler, and the Knockouts division, man, they're dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But congratulations for her. Way to, Nah? Why not?
I had the same problem with Awesome Kong. If you know ahead of time that that you want to have kids or anything, I think it's best as an employee to let your bosses know ahead of time so that they don't invest that much in you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Divas division in the WWE was in the toilet. It was half flush before Awesome Kong showed up and made everything relevant. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as the train was about to leave the station, she cuts her out of character promo that she always wanted to be a mother, and that she went and tried to have her baby, regardless if she lost it or she kept it or whatever happened. She pretty much teased everything. She teased all of us. All that was for nothing. And the same thing with Taryn Terrell. She's hot. I like looking at her. She was doing a damn good job in the ring. She was progressing every week. The matches were getting better and better.
She was like Kelly, but good.
Yeah, we had the conversation before. Kelly had it similar. It took a whole lot longer. Like a progression was every month or every month and a half, but you could see it going. Taryn Terrell, you could see it. You could see it that she was getting there really quick. And they let the cat out of the bag. She was apparently supposed to win the Knockouts title at Bound for Glory. They're gonna put that much investment in you.
And then you're going to go and try it. Well, was she trying to have a baby, or did it just happen?
I don't know about all that, but in that case,
you're right.
If you know you're getting put into this position, you should at least be taking more precaution to make sure you can keep your position.
Yeah. If she was trying to have a baby, I see your point. You probably shouldn't try to have a baby and not tell your boss if you work in the entertainment industry, so that they wouldn't invest so much time in you. But if it just happened, well, sometimes things just happen.
If the plan is, hey, look, 6 months from now, honey, you're getting the belt. You know what that means? You need to put a cap on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I did find out, Velvet, she said that she had an extreme emergency, but she's okay. It's extreme emergency scare, but she's okay now.
Okay, well, I'm glad she's okay.
So am I.
Yeah, that's all it said.
Okay. Last thing from the episode of Impact that was known as Hardcore Justice. We need to talk about the match with Bully and, the title change and, of course, the heel turn for Tito and all that good stuff. You guys were not the biggest fans of Sabin having the title. I dug it. I liked it. I didn't mind. And I kind of didn't really want to see him lose the title, especially after only holding it for, 2 weeks.
What'd you like about it?
But you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I was pretty certain that it was. Yeah. And, that sucks about it. But, it kind of gives it this feeling like, what the hell's the point? What was the point of giving the title to Sabin for 2 weeks just to, take it back off him and put it on Bully? What was the point of all that?
Get more heel heat on Bully to get it back. Try to make Sabin a star.
Yeah.
Bigger star. But
do you think they failed?
Yes.
They failed on making Sabin a star?
Yep. With the booking of that match.
Really? Chris, what do you think?
Everything was unnecessary. He should have never got the belt to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
going to stay with that stance until the end.
You know what?
An underdog story like that deserves a higher platform than just
and
what happened.
And it deserves a slower burn.
Exactly.
That's the point that I will agree with you guys on, that it probably needed a slower burn so that more people could get on board with it and jump on the bandwagon. I think they tried to cash in too much on Sabin's past and his past successes in TNA, but I don't think that they could really ride that horse that much because there's not all that many people that watch TNA now, and there was even less people watching TNA then.
And the other thing that hindered that was that most of Sabin's success was with Motor City, not as a single star. So it didn't make sense for him to build off a credibility that he mostly got through a tag team division to suddenly get a title shot. If it was Shelley and Sabin coming back as the Motor City Machine Guns, and you want to do a quick burn to them getting a title match for the tag titles, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having Sabin come that route, it just didn't fly.
Because when was the last time we actually seen Sabin as a singles competitor? It wasn't 2 years ago when he was, before the injury. Because 2 years ago, before an injury, he was with the Guns. So it was even before the Guns. The Guns had at least, a 2-year run? So it'd been at least 4 years since we've seen a successful run with Sabin. And successful is a relative term because, there was a while there where he was just kind of floating around after he won all the X-Division titles. Yeah. So, he won the X-Division titles a lot in his early career. Then, he tried to kind of move up into further up the card and then, boom, tag titles.
And that's why I say the slow burn in a bigger event would have been better because as much as we've already seen it with Storm and Rude, it would have been awesome to have Alex Shelley come back, cheer the kid on, have him actually win the title, and then, boom, Shelley turns on him. Instant heat, instant feud. Let's go.
Could you imagine them two just fighting for a feud?
Holy crap. As good tag team matches that those two have had with others, imagine a really heated fight between themselves over the title.
But that's what TNA, they rush on everything. They don't.
With the exception of Bully. I think they've done a really good job with developing Bully and the character, pulling him out of being the tag team specialist, and that's it. Because if you would have told me 2 years ago, Bully's going to be the top heel in TNA and he's going to be the one holding the title and everybody is going to believe it, I would have been like, you're crazy. Yeah. They just got done doing this out of shape and overweight fat guy gimmick, with the tag division and all that. He's never going to go anywhere and they only see him as a tag guy. If you were to tell me that, I wouldn't have bought it. But they did. They made him a single star. They made him be the top of the heap.
That was one of the slowest of slow burns because it took a long time to get there.
And it worked.
Well, and half of that's because of Bully. To his credit, he got into shape. He changed his style. His promos have gotten crisper and, everything about him. This has changed. 180.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess Bully deserves a lot of that credit. Definitely. I don't want to say TNA doesn't deserve some of the credit, but then again...
Well, just anything with wrestling, it's 50-50. I mean, it's creative, it's the talent. You know, you can have a really good story, but if you have a shitty guy doing it, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And it works the other way, too. You can have great guys, but if the story's shitty, it's not going to work either.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into some of the specifics of this match. We had Tito, coming out, trying to do what we thought was going to be making the save.
Let's go further back.
Okay, let's go further
back. The
back.
whole thing started with a Get Well Soon Kurt promo, which led to the Main Event Mafia looking for a fifth guy.
Right.
Sting tried going to Austin Aries.
A replacement guy.
Sting tried going to Austin Aries, talked about it in the back. Austin thought about it. Sting came back to the group, told him, you know what? Aries said no. Bummer. So Rampage got up and said, you know what? I hate to do it, but I got to take one for the team. Went out to the ring, asked Tito. Bully Ray came out, talked smack, got under Tito's skin. So all signs pointed that Tito was going to be holding on with the Main Event Mafia. And then the main event match happened.
Main event match, yeah. Anderson came out to try to get to interfere in the match, which, by the way, that was kind of funny there when he pretty much broke the door to the cage by accident. Not on purpose, by accident. It's like, I'm going to run up and slam the door shut. He slammed the door shut and he broke it. So instead of it being shut, it would open, but in the opposite direction. Only in TNA. How much bad luck can one...
Did Sin Cara build that cage?
Yeah, you would think so. But anyway...
With help from the martini?
Yeah. Anyway, he was trying to get involved in the match, messing with the cage door, and then out comes Rampage and Tito. And it looks like they're going to save the day, but, Rampage went up there, kind of went to go get Anderson, and Tito was behind him, and he pulls out a hammer and smacks him in the back of the head. Heel turn. Whoa. There you go. Never saw it coming. Did we?
Yeah.
I did.
Like 2 weeks ago.
You didn't see it coming, Chris?
No.
Wait, what?
I wasn't expecting it. No.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm being serious.
Okay. Go ahead.
Like, when he actually turned on him, I was like, whoa, you didn't see that coming.
In all sincerity, I fell asleep through the last match.
Oh, God.
But, building up the story, Austin saying, I thought Austin was going to say yes, and that was going to be the fifth guy. I didn't expect the storyline to last. I didn't expect anyone from the Main Event Mafia to impact the result that Bully was going to win. I knew Bully was going to win. I was so confident in it that I didn't think about the accessories of that, which were the Aces and Eights and Main Event Mafia and Tito. So in that sense, once Austin said no and they got Tito, I pretty much said, you know what, I don't care. As long as Bully wins the title back. So I didn't put that much stock in any of it. So when I found out the next day, I saw the video on the TNA YouTube page. I was like, oh wow, okay. So yeah, I honestly didn't see it coming. Because I didn't put too much thought into it. That's why. So
I gotcha.
That's why.
All right, cool. I can understand that. The not putting thought into it. This is Chris we're talking about, but but I didn't really buy that Tito was actually going to side with Main Event Mafia, to be honest.
Oh, I never saw that coming. I
never
never was thinking that was going to happen.
Yeah. But I did not think that he was going to join the Aces and Eights. I thought he was just going to be on his own, do his own thing. But
didn't we talk about this last week?
Yeah, we did.
And we said that was what needs to happen.
You called it.
You did.
You guys.
Yeah. See? You're good for something.
I'll sit back. I'll let y'all discuss.
That's enough, Whitey.
Okay. So where is this? I mean, is this really just going to lead up to Tito versus Rampage Jackson in Bellator, and they're going to have like spillover? I mean, like we were talking about.
The Bellator announcer is going to ask that. Oh, this fight was enhanced because somebody got hit in the back of the head by somebody else with a hammer.
Yeah.
That's the part that bothered me, is that it's one thing to try to bring in MMA guys to your product, but if their primary goal isn't to be in your product, then you shouldn't do anything in your product with them. So that's gonna if even if I decide to watch this Bellator match between Rampage and them, I'm gonna have that in the back of my mind that they went like this in TNA, slapping their hands like girls, and then now tonight in the Octagon they're gonna fight like men. It just that part kind of ruins it for me.
I'm kind of going back to what we said last week. I think for the Bellator fight, they got to have Ace and Eights and Main Event Mafia in their corner.
Just, around the cage.
Just to have that wrestling influence on their end, too. Because we have the MMA influence over here on Impact. Bellator's got to have the wrestling...
Yeah, and it's going to go over...
Business-wise, it's only fair that there has to be some kind of TNA involvement or TNA presence there. And even if it has to do with not them being like legitimate like coaches or whatever, not that. But if they're sitting ringside in the front row, opposite sides, representing their guys, that's enough. Acknowledge the fact that these TNA guys are here and that that certain things happen on the show, so that at least TNA can get some fucking rub off of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because right now, with what they've done before, I don't think TNA's even gotten a hand job out of this. Let alone the rub. So at least do something to even up the score.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise, if that's not going to happen,
what's the point?
Not only is this pointless, but it's fucking up one of the good things that they have going for them right now, which is their main storyline, Masons and Eights versus Main Event Mafia.
And like you said, they need to get something out of it.
Yeah.
We've seen this before where it's a cross promotion, but what really is the cross promotion?
It's not really a cross promotion if only one side's getting the better half.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that we want to bring up from Hardcore Justice before we move on to other TNA news?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on to other TNA news.
One down, one to go.
Yes! Talking about Brooke Hogan. Brooke Hogan is now officially released from TNA Wrestling. I find that very peculiar because I would think that with her daddy still in the company, somehow he would manage to keep her in the company. So the fact that somehow they got rid of her, I'm surprised. I'm shocked.
I just wonder if it was like Hulk that walked up to her and said, "You're fired."
Listen, Brooke, I love you, and I'm your daddy.
But you know something, brother?
Listen,
what you gonna do?
Listen, Jack.
That's his new thing now.
We got 20 bowls of rice around, brother.
We gotta let you go, but just make sure they remember you.
Another example of TNA being TNA. If she is in a decent position in the company where she's like the head of the Knockouts division, and she was still in the storylines even as of the last show, why are you gonna just let her go without at least doing something storyline wise to at least
write her out? Didn't I text you that?
Write her out.
When I found out, I said, how are they gonna? I said it's great. I'm glad she's gone, but what the fuck? She's a Knockouts coordinator, manager, whatever the fuck, and she's still married to Bully Ray. That's still a storyline.
Well, they had already said that, she was already getting engaged to another dude. But yeah, you're right. She was still technically married to Bully. So, I don't know. It's just a big piled up,
Yep, there you go.
That's what that is.
So,
I was waiting for Chris's sound effect on that one, but
I beat him to it. He taught me well. So, is this just another bad sign for TNA? More budget cuts, and the budget cut so much that they had to get rid of a Hogan? Or is this like TNA smartening up and like, you know what? Brooke really isn't doing a whole lot for us. Let's let her go.
They wouldn't admit that.
Well, aside from admitting stuff, I mean, what do you think?
I wouldn't say Brooke wasn't doing a lot because she actually was adding some credibility to the women's division, in my opinion.
Okay.
For whatever she did in there, she wasn't the worst. She wasn't mediocre. She actually held her own, and she was all right. She didn't make the division any worse by being there. She made it a little better, not to the degree that, oh my God, Brooke Hogan saved the Knockouts division, but she was all right.
She felt like a legitimate authority figure for the Knockouts. She felt like
she belonged there.
For the
she looked like she belonged in that position, and for them to just take her out of it without any real explanation or how they're going to cover that up, because this happened pretty recently, before new tapings. So we're going to get another episode of Impact before we get the next set of live tapings with Brooke officially gone. So we might not even hear anything about this Brooke being let go until a week later.
You think they're just going to do the Phantom, she was never there type thing? They don't even mention her?
That'd be a shame.
You know, it's weird, you know, because you talk about, you know, TNA doing the Phantom, oh, he was never there kind of thing, where TNA just ignores something and tries to sweep something underneath the rug. But they did the complete opposite with Kurt Angle. You know, with Kurt Angle, they came out and they said, oh yeah, you know, he's getting the help he needs and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's that lack of consistency on how they're going to treat their product and which, are they going to be honest with some stuff or are they going to hide some stuff in the back? You know, well, they're always showing these, backstage things that are actually happening, but then sometimes they try to stage it. So it seems like they really try to straddle the line of like, either they're going to be like ECW, where Paul Heyman didn't bullshit you and told you what was going on because you knew anyway. They try to be like that sometimes, but then they also try to be like WWE, where the backstage stuff stays backstage, and if you find out about it through TMZ or news dirt sheets or whatever, well, that's how you found out about it. But but WWE doesn't acknowledge it. TNA kind of like they go back and forth on their policy with that type of thing, you know.
I think it's due to the circumstance. You know, somebody gets pregnant. That's something life changing that unfortunately, as much as I complained about it earlier, a wrestling company can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody gets knocked up or somebody gets pregnant, you congratulate them. They come out and break character and explain what's going on. That part you don't bullshit. Brooke Hogan, for whatever storyline that she was in, at the end of the day, that character can be replaced by somebody else, or the director or the storyline can go in a different direction. So you don't really need to talk about that as a part of the storyline. Kurt Angle going into rehab, you don't want a man to die. In that sense of the word, why not air it out in public? Like, look, this.
Plus, that was very public too,
and that was very public. This is what's going on. This is how we feel. We got your back. We're doing this out in the open since everyone already knows about it because we want you to see how much we are behind you. So it just depends on the circumstance to whether you want to just either ECW it up or just lock it up and put it back somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah. There you go. Shut me up. All right. Let's move on to another piece of news that's, we just got word of today. Apparently Hulk Hogan tweeted out, something about, the X-Division. X-Division's now gonna go back to one-on-ones.
Alright! High three!
Yeah, woo!
Yeah. Apparently nobody watches Ninja Turtles around here because no one got the reference.
Well, whatever.
Hell with you.
Anyway.
I got the reference. Yeah.
You're just lazy because it's X-Division is TNA.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is good. I think this is good. You know, we complained about it from day one about the whole three-way matches and three-way qualifiers and blah blah blah. It's just, you can only do so many three-ways.
It was a stupid concept in the first place. They realized it. They knew they just shot themselves in the foot with that stupid whatever it was that they tried to do.
Yeah, so they're going to go back to one-on-ones, which is great. And I wonder if that means that they're going to also get rid of the weight limits. I mean, they haven't mentioned it in a while.
I think that went out the first week.
I hope so.
They haven't mentioned it since that first change.
Yeah.
So is this a good move for TNA?
Yeah, that's all they can do now. I mean, they have to do it, give us what works, One-on-one X-Division matches, that works.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally with a three-way or an Ultimate X or, whatever, of course, that's part of the fabric of the X-Division, but it doesn't need to be the base of it, it's not going to be three ways all the time.
I think we can take credit. We'll say they listened to our show and listened to our voices of concern about the three ways. And they figured, hey, these guys, they're onto something. Let's rethink our strategy on this. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're welcome, TNA.
You're welcome.
Chris, you look like you want to say something.
No, I'm just waiting for the check. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Get a second microphone over here or something.
All right. Anything else that we want to add about TNA for this week?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So that's our TNA talk for the week. We already covered WWE. We just have a few other things to talk about, one of which we want to bring up a little bit more info about stuff going on at the Clutch City Productions SuperShow that's coming up at the end of the month on August the 31st and September the 1st. We mentioned last week that we're going to be doing a tournament for... we weren't sure if we were going to do WCW versus NWO Revenge or if we were going to do No Mercy, but I think we pretty much settled on No Mercy, right?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to do a tournament on No Mercy on the Nintendo 64 on a little ass old school tube TV.
It's going to be bigger than that, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was that TV.
We're working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we're going to have a total retro feel. And we finalized a couple of prizes. We are going to work on getting a couple of more items, but one item of which is the one that Chris alluded to last week, something from his own personal collection, is a signed, autographed Rob Van Dam figure.
Yes.
In its original packaging.
That's never been opened.
You can say it's one of a kind.
I see what you're saying there. And to go along with that, we also have a copy, a sealed copy of ECW One Night Stand. That WWE version of ECW. Before
Is this the first one?
The first one.
Best one.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't like the second one? The second one's the one with RVD versus Cena.
And Rey Mysterio against Sabu.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of other matches that really it didn't hold up to snuff. As opposed, you compare the first one and the second one.
The first one's a lot
hands
better.
down, the first one's a lot better.
My only complaint about the release, the DVD release of that, is they edited out Sandman's music.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
I still got the original recording on VHS.
Good job. So those are two of some of the prizes that we're going to have. Like we said, we're going to work on a couple of more things. So we'll try to, as Travis wants to do, keep some of them a surprise. But
is No Mercy a 4-player game?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do your standard 1-against-1 tournament, or do you want to do like three or four
to be decisioned
4-man teams, and then from there we just get the winner of each one?
I'm leaning more towards doing an 8-man bracket of one-on-ones. But that could change depending on how many people we have there at the convention and whether or not people that are listening to this right now will tell us, hey, I want to participate on it. If you go to our Facebook page or you tell us on Twitter or whatever,
let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you plan on going to the Clutch City Productions SuperShow. Let us know if you plan on being in our tournament. Just kind of give us as much info as we can or as you can. That way we could better plan for the event and better suit you guys. Yeah,
it's the first time we're doing something like this, so we're getting excited about this. Yeah,
let us know, that way we can organize, and I'll try to organize it as best as we can.
All right, I'll take your word for it. But
yeah, so aside from going to the show just for us and to participate in our tournament, like we had said, there's been all kinds of people that are going to be there to sign your autographs. We interviewed last week Supermax Hernandez. You could go on to our show for last week and listen to that. But he's going to be there signing autographs, as well as Tito Santana. We interviewed him a couple of weeks before then also. So you can listen to that old episode as well. Just search for it on our page there, HoustonWrestlingRadio.com or iTunes or whatever. So those two will be there. Along with other TNA guests, it'll be Robbie E. and Miss Tessmacher, along with other WWE legends. There's also going to be Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine. And then, of course, the main thing is the stuff with NWO. There's going to be Scott Norton. I said that all funny. Scott Norton, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and, of course, Six, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call him.
1-2-3 Kid.
1-2-3 Kid. The Lightning Kid.
Lightning Kid,
yeah.
yes.
That guy, he'll be there. So it's, going to be pretty stacked, and that's all going to be on the 31st, which is Saturday. On Sunday, there's going to be a lot of people there. Seth Payne from Sports Radio 610, he's going to be there. Original Texan. He was on the first season, the inaugural season of the Houston Texans. So that's going to be pretty cool seeing him. And then, of course, our Olympic bronze medalist, right here from Pasadena, Marlene Esparza. She's going to be there. I can't even say it.
Riddick Bowe.
Thank you. I couldn't say it. Him. He's going to be there.
Don't help him. Okay. Let him flounder.
Chronicles of Riddick Bowe. Okay.
If it helps you remember.
Yeah, it helps you remember.
Just remember, he cannot see in the dark.
Right.
And he was not in the Fast and Furious 6.
Okay. So he'll be there. So check him out. So yeah, it's gonna be some pretty good stuff. So come on, check it out, and it's gonna be a grand old time. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be fun.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up,
Before we put a cap on it.
right. Went out to Galveston this week.
I'm sorry.
Wait, why is that an I'm sorry? What do you got against Galveston?
It's hurricane season. He didn't want anything to happen to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Because I cared.
Oh, thank you. Went out to Galveston this week, and I went to go see a little indie show called FTW, which stands for Full Throttle Wrestling. It was an interesting little show. It was pretty good, I got to see Hammer. He wrestled a match there. Got to see Jared Wayne.
Did he tell you to tell Chris to shut up?
No. He didn't.
He saves that for the one-on-one.
Yeah, when he was there.
It's your special moment.
Yeah, it was good seeing Hammer. Of course, he was Jasper Davis, so whatever. And he had a nice little match there, so that was pretty cool. And there was a 2 out of 3 falls match with Jared, and that was also a pretty good match. I just. Of course, I can't remember the names of the guys that they wrestled against. It was my first time seeing them. But the main event, that was another really good match too. I can't remember the name of one of the guys that wrestled in the main event, but the other I do remember, and his name was Hector Montoya. And I saw his name across Facebook for other promotions and stuff. So he's been around this area for a little bit, and he was a pretty good guy. But all in all, it was a really good experience going out there to that indie show. They were really friendly to me. They all came up and talked to me or whatever. So it was nice. The promoter was really friendly as well as the announcer guy. So thanks for welcoming us, and thanks for putting on a good show. And if you're in the area and they have on another show in Galveston, go and check it out. But they mostly do most of their shows out of the Lake Charles, Louisiana area. So if you're listening to us all the way from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and you have a chance to check out FTW, go out there and check out one of their shows. Another interesting thing. One of their wrestlers there, they were selling fudge. And it was some of the best damn fudge I've ever eaten. It was so freaking good.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really good. And I think his name was Hambone. That was his name, Hambone.
Oh, he's Hambone. Redneck guy with overalls?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrestles in, primarily, I've seen him in NWA Houston.
Really?
He's a good gimmick. He's a tag team wrestler.
Does he sell fudge there at NWA?
I don't remember. Like, I don't go to the merch table, and I don't remember them announcing it during any of the shows over there that, hey, I sell fudge. But there might just be something new that he just started.
Yeah, he came out during intermission, and the announcer said, "Hey, Hambo's over here selling some of his grandma's homemade fudge." And I was like, "What?" So I walk on over there, and I was like, "Hey, man, what do you got?" "Oh, man, I got some fudge." And he had it in a cooler, and he had all kinds of different flavors. He had regular chocolate. He had chocolate with almonds or walnuts. He had peanut butter, he had white chocolate, and he had cookies and cream. And I got the cookies and cream one, and it was so effing good. It's some of the best fudge ever.
I was waiting for you to say, and I got one of each.
No, I would have, but I didn't have enough cash on me.
All right, well, let's do a nice little segue into NWA Houston, because they're going to be having some very special guests coming in the very near future.
Yes.
Hi. New Japan Pro Wrestling invades NWA Houston.
Yes.
Hell yes.
That's going to be pretty darn cool.
We got a taste of that.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, at our last ROW show, we had a light heavyweight champion from New Japan wrestle in the opening match.
So, yeah.
And he put on a hell of a show. Mm-hmm. And if that's anything of what's in store of that show, we need to make a hell of an effort to go. And by we, I am looking at the two people that need to make a hell of an effort to go, because they live on the other side of hell.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. We've said it many a time on our show. Any longtime listeners know this about us. We'd love to go to NWA Houston. We've wanted to go for so many times, but it's always on a Friday night on the other end of Houston. So it's kind of hard to make the trip out there.
If we miss the first hour, we miss the first hour.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
for New Japan, for all this, I might have to ask time off from work. Normally I get off of work at 7, and this show's going to be starting at 7, and that's part of the reason why I don't go, because, if we go, we wind up missing the first hour. But, man, we might have to, just pull some strings or something, try to get out there, for this show and make, a really concerted effort, to at least make it for this show. So yeah, I definitely need a plan to do that. Ourselves. And if we're doing that, damn it, listeners, you should do that too. Go out there to this show for NWA Houston. I've heard nothing but good stuff for NWA Houston.
Yeah, just check out their Facebook page or just do a Google search for NWA Houston Invasion. It's October 18th.
Yeah.
At 7:30, I think. Yeah, but that's over in Humble.
In Humble, yeah.
Yeah.
So not Cyprus, but Humble. But
And
for us, same difference.
The tickets,
Still far.
Yeah. The tickets are $20 general admission. You can also, if you want, you can get VIP tickets that are $40. Those are, you get in, you go backstage, whatever, for 30 minutes, and you see, you can meet and greet, all the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys and the NWA guys, too. Mm-hmm. So, and then you get front row seats. So, it's a good deal. I mean, you're getting a good deal, I guess, for $40, but,
Yeah.
Whatever, they have options. You can go to the website and buy the tickets now.
Yeah. So excited for that. That should be a good show, and really looking forward to it. All right. I think that's it.
One last thing.
Oh, jeez.
Here we go. Okay,
I'll be short and sweet. If anybody wants to join us, meet us up before the doors open. We'd love to sit with you, have a good time. Mick Foley, comedy stand-up at the Improv.
Yes.
October 2nd.
October 2nd on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Yeah.
They changed it from 8:30 to 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Some of us have already got our tickets.
I think all of us have already got our tickets, right? You haven't, Trav? Trav, you lazy bastard.
It won't take long. You'll get yours very soon.
Yeah.
Most of us already do have them, and
Yeah.
we're ready. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is going to be, like you said, general admission. So if we all just kind of show up all around the same time, or if you guys, anybody, our listeners show up and you see us or whatever, and like, hey, can we sit with y'all? Just get in our big ass group, and we'll try to all sit together as best as we can, and hopefully we'll pack that place out. And I mean,
I can see it selling out for sure.
yeah, it's not every day that Mick Foley comes around to this side of town, so that's going to be pretty special, pretty cool. And I've heard nothing but good things also for Mick Foley's stand-up tour, So, and weren't you also saying that Mick Foley's been making a habit of having local wrestling celebrities make appearances?
They have.
So, I mean, we could speculate till the cows come home as to who would be the Houston representative on the Mick Foley tour. I mean, it could be anybody. It could be Hernandez. He's here. It could be Robbie E. It could be Booker.
I would.
Could be Shelton Benjamin, MVP.
I would say probably Booker. I'm sure you can tell some entertaining stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got to think it's
Fuck
good.
it, I'll pay to see Booker T do Spinner Rudy's for 10 minutes. I don't care.
I'm not sure if he could do spinning rooties for 10 minutes straight. He get pretty dizzy.
You put some money in his face, you'll do him spin around.
I can
Do another one.
I can dig it.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah.
Are we going to consider that my birthday celebration also?
Why not?
Yeah, okay. There
Anybody
you go.
wants to join in on the spanking, I'm bringing the paddle.
Oh boy. No. Let's not do that. I'm going to be sore the next day. All right.
There's a joke in there somewhere. I ain't touching it.
Yeah.
Chris,
It's
it's all you
a
go.
late night. I'm going to just let that go.
Okay.
That's your freebie.
Since we didn't do it last week, I guess we should do it this week. Actually do our shout outs that we normally do properly. Since we skipped over it last week. Old Scott, he was the one who actually alerted me to the info of the X-Division one-on-one stuff. So thank you so much, Scott. And of course, you can listen to the podcast that he's on, Stoppage Time with Hero and Hammer, on iTunes. You can do a search there. Just find the one that says Stoppage Time with Hero and Hammer. And also, they are on Stitcher now. So check them out there. If you enjoy soccer, if you enjoy the Houston Dynamo, you really, really should take a listen to these guys. They really know their stuff. They really know all about, soccer, football, as they call it. So give them a listen. And they're good peeps. I can vouch for them.
One of them.
All right. And, let's see. Next up, Aaron, if you need anything designed graphically, check him out. You can check out his Facebook page, Awesome AG Designs, or if you want to hit him up on Twitter, he changed his Twitter handle, the bastard. It's back to Suicide Fox. So, do a search there. If it comes up as Aaron Garcia, then you got the right one. So check him out. Also,
I forget he doesn't listen to the show anyways.
By his own admittance, he's like, I haven't listened to your show in forever. But anyway, let's see. Other podcasts, if you didn't get enough with this one already, you could check out The Shining Wizards. They're some pretty good guys. They've really been, helping us out a little bit with planning for our conventions, since they've done conventions and stuff with like WrestleCon and all that up there in the New York, New Jersey area, since they've already done that stuff. So listen to them. Thanks so much, guys, for all your input or whatever. And check out their show. Go to shiningwizards.com. And then we need to give shout outs to the Wrestling Chronicle, Pile Driver podcast. They run the Wrestling Chronicle website, which also doubles as a news website, and they carried the story of our interview with Hernandez. So thank you so much for that. And of course, Kayfabe Kickout, again, running the story of Hernandez, our interview with Hernandez, as well as WrestleChat, WrestleChat.net. If there's anyone that I'm forgetting, I'm sorry.
Wrestling Enigma?
Yeah. I think they covered that story. Did they? I don't know. I don't remember.
Man, if they haven't been doing it, they've been getting free pub from us for way too long.
Yeah.
We're going to have to find a way to get them back. We're going to give their website AIDS. Something. We'll make it work.
Oh, my.
We'll make it work.
That's where Abel comes in.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that likes wrestling in general, I recently listened to Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast. He had Samoa Joe as a guest, and he has some very interesting stories.
Really?
It's a good listen. So
That
you guys
sounds
should
like a
give
good
that
listen.
shot. You should give that a shot.
Cool. Let's see, who else? Well, of course, Max Wrestling with Subtitles. He's got a new crusade, so to speak, that he's on. We got WWE and TNA to start closed captioning their wrestling DVDs. The next thing that he's moving on to is Sony. On the PlayStation Network, all the TV shows and movies and stuff that you could download, none of them have the option for closed captioning. So that's his new thing. He's got a change.org petition going. So, of course, go on there, search for either the Wrestling with Subtitles, himself, or you can search for the petition itself and look for Sony PSN Network, subtitle petition. Go on there, sign it, try to get subtitles for those deaf and hard of hearing people, so they can start watching stuff on the PlayStation Network. And but check them out, and check out Wrestling with Subtitles, and you can find them on Twitter at WrestleSubtitle, and of course also on Facebook at facebook.com/Wrestling with Subtitles. Anything else? That's it. We're done. Are we done?
We're done.
We're done.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next week with another great episode. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy. Toodles.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing.
Jesus freaking Christ. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What are you, Trav? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah?
Chris, you ready? Okay. I think we're all ready.
All right.
Man.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to the 46th edition. Here we go.
Every time you do your entrance, you intro, you're always moving and you're digging it from the bottom. Today you're like, that sounded more half-assed. You need to,
He has a point there.
That was
you're like staring at your phone while you're going, welcome to the
Put the phone down.
The Miz is going to trend sooner or later. Put the shit down. Take a deep breath. Concentrate. Make it sound like you want to keep the 6 listeners we have left. Now, do it. Do it.
You gonna fucking interrupt me again?
No. If it's good, I won't.
Alright. Let's start over. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the 40th.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great!
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!